Welcome to Fenway Park as we get ready for Game 2 of a 4-game series between the Houston Astros and the Boston Red Sox. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Steve Lyons. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, tonight the Red Sox are looking to win their 5th game in a row. They've been rolling right along, and so is their second baseman, Dustin Pedroia.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with the way he's been so productive at the top of that order. He's on fire in the month of August, and that's why this offense is rolling. Early on in the season, I think he was a little bit pull happy, and now he's using the entire field. Every time he goes to the plate, it seems like he's hitting the ball to a different area of the outfield. Last night, he was all over the place. Dumped one into right field for a base hit, then went to left. We know how he loves to get that bat head out. And then dumped one on the chalk line down the line with the bases drunk, and that drove in a few. Just an excellent night for Petey. And overall, in the month of August, he's been on fire. He leads this team with 39 multi-hit games.
He's our Chevy key player to watch. He's hit .360 in 12 games in August. 3 doubles, a home run, 7 RBIs, had 7 multi-hit games, and increased his average 9 points in the month. Well, the Red Sox trying to keep it rolling along tonight, and Clay Buchholz will be on the mound for the Red Sox. We'll come back and talk about Buchholz, who has enjoyed success this year against the Astros already. We'll come back and talk about that right after this. Online only at Southwest.com. Now the fans making their way in here to Fenway Park on what's turned out to be a nice night at Fenway for Game 2 of the series between the Astros and the Red Sox. Welcome back inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo. Well, tonight Clay Buchholz takes the hill for the Red Sox. The only starter left to begin the year as far as the rotation goes. 4th, 5th traded away by the Red Sox front office, and Buchholz remains. Clay's best game of the year was against these Houston Astros down in Houston. Look at the numbers. A complete game shutout for Buchholz, far and away his best of the year. At 12 strikeouts, didn't walk anybody. He's had success in the past against the Astros. 2-0, 1.08 earned run average in his career with 22 strikeouts. With more, we send it to Gary Striewski. Gary?
Yeah, Joe, if history tells us anything, it is that Clay Buchholz likes pitching against the Astros, and you already listed the numbers. The last time he faced them down in Houston in mid-July, a complete game, 3-hit performance, 12 strikeouts. That's a career high. Can't promise that he's going to duplicate that tonight, but as John Farrell explains, if he attacks the mound with the same aggression, he might get close.
I thought he pitched with much more conviction. Even in some fastball counts, he had a good curveball he could go to slow some hitters down and get a strike to get back into the count. I thought he was more aggressive with first pitch strikes. So he was more efficient, and I thought, like I said, pitched with more conviction throughout the 8 innings of work.
John Farrell talking about that 8-inning performance the last time Clay actually took the mound in Anaheim. Unfortunately, it was forgotten because that was the 19-inning affair that the Angels ended up walking off in the 19th inning. But if he gets a performance like that, whether it's an 8-inning performance or like another 9-inning performance like he had against the Astros, he might just, in fact, keep the Astros winless here at Fenway. They'd be 0-9 if Clay Buchholz can deliver.
All right, Gary, thanks very much. He'll try to indeed do that and try to contain a guy who's vying for the batting title. That's Jose Altuve. He'll be in the lineup tonight for the Astros. We're back with the first pitch right after this. Audi, Sullivan Tire and Auto Service, Toyota's website for deals via Toyota.com, McDonald's, I'm loving it, and by your Subaru dealers of New England. Welcome back to Fenway Park as the Red Sox and Houston Astros get ready for Game 2 of this 4-game series. Lineups have been exchanged, and the Red Sox take the field tonight in their home red alternate jerseys tonight on this Friday night. As they do, let's check out the visiting Houston Astros starting 9. Robbie Grossman is in left field, leading it off with Jose Altuve hitting at .337. He's at second base. Chris Carter, the former Oakland A, is the DH. Dexter Fowler in center field in the cleanup spot with Jason Castro doing the catching. John Singleton at first base with Matt Dominguez at third. Jake Marisnick in right field, and Marwin Gonzalez at shortstop bats ninth. Tonight's Red Sox starting pitcher is presented by your New England Audi dealers. Experience the all-new 2015 Audi A3 today. Clay Buchholz into his 20th start of the year, 5-7, just under 6 at 5.99. He's logged 109 and 2/3 innings, 83 Ks, and opponent sitting at 297 against Buchholz. A no decision and kind of lost in the shuffle of a 19-inning game in Anaheim, in which he went 8 innings, giving up 3 runs, had 8 Ks in his last start.
And here's the Red Sox defense, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. The infield anchored by Middlebrooks at third base, Bogarts, Pedroia, and Napoli over at first. In the outfield, Cespedes, Bradley in center field, and Brock Holt playing right field. You always have to check the defense to figure out where Holt's going to be playing. And there's your battery, Vasquez and Buchholz tonight.
Umpiring crew tonight, Corey Blazer has a play call on the balls and strikes with the crew chief Jim Joyce at first base, Pat Holberg at second base, and Doug Eddings is the umpire at third. Well, weather tonight, 67 degrees. It is cooled off here, and the breeze out to right at 12 miles per hour. The forecast partly cloudy for the remainder of the night as the Red Sox settle into this lengthy homestand, 11 games, 11 days. Well, fans, you can test your Red Sox IQ right now in the MLB Pre-Play mobile app. Download for free and start predicting every at-bat of every Red Sox game all season. Tonight, Pre-Play predicts Clay Buchholz will go 5 2/3, giving up 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 walks, and 7 strikeouts.
I don't really like those numbers.
Yeah, no. 5 walks, a lot of walks.
Yeah.
You never know with the Pre-Play,
yeah,
You never know.
They call them like I see them, I guess.
Yeah, there's a different look you don't see every day. Clean-shaven Dustin Pedroia.
Well, 5th inning, it looked like he needs a shave again.
Yes.
I don't know. Clearly not very superstitious. The way he's swinging the bat right now, you'd think that he would have let it go.
I would have messed with it at all when he's going. Now, Robbie Grossman standing in to get it started for the Astros here. Leadoff hitter hitting just up over 200. It's a 204 coming into tonight's game, as Buchholz gets himself settled in atop the hill.
This Astro team has probably had more trouble finding a leadoff hitter than the Red Sox did in the early going of the season before Brock Holt showed up.
First pitch of the ball game for Buchholz is in there for strike one, and we're underway. The Astros kind of a strange team in that they have trouble scoring runs. However, they hit a lot of home runs. It seems the only way they score is via the home run. And the Astros coming in with a record of 50 72. They're 22 games under 500, 23.5 games back at the Oakland A's in the AL West. Good curveball, and it's 0-2. Bill Porter at the helm of these Astros. Improved from a year ago and ahead of the Rangers out of the bottom spot, but still not where the Astros want to be.
Well, you know, the way it's gone recently for them, out of the bottom spot is really a huge improvement.
Small
steps. Ahead of the Rangers.
There's strike 3 as Grossman is buckled. Back-to-back curveballs for Buchholz. One down here in the first inning.
Using all his pitches is a huge key for Buchholz. That's a nasty breaking ball, outer half of the plate. All you can do is tip your cap and go sit down. I think he's really started to figure out that he needs to use everything. He can't just power guys anyway. Anytime he's out there, just keep throwing that fastball and a lot of cutters. He's got to use everything.
One down here in the first inning for Jose Altuve. We highlighted him as part of the open. He's hitting at .337. 5 homers and 37 runs driven in. He has an 8-point lead for the batting title at the moment atop the American League, setting the pace. Robinson Cano second, hitting at .329, but Altuve has really been the leader for the most part this year. And has the highest batting average now in the majors. Morneau leading in the National League, hitting at .323 for Colorado. This one poked foul off to the right, and it's 1-1.
Nice catch right up here in the first deck. One-handed. See what it says there? Cho baseball. He knows. He's the captain.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah.
This is driven out towards right center field, sending Jackie Bradley Jr. backpedaling for the second out. 2 down. Now you're talking about Buchholz off the top, and it does appear this is his time to kind of get it together here at this stage of the season. He is now the veteran, the guy who is the leader of this pitching staff.
Yeah, and really what I've been looking for is a little more swagger out of him, a little bit more of like, you know what, I got the ball, you can't hit it, let's go. He takes a lot of time between pitches sometimes, especially when he gets in trouble. And, you know, to me, he just hasn't looked like the same guy. Certainly not the same guy that rattled off 9 straight wins last year. He needs to get back to being that guy again. Whether the results are good or bad, you have to at least have the attitude that you're going to have a successful day on the mound.
Well, he's dealing with Chris Carter, the DH and former Oakland A, part of a deal for Jed Lowry. Of course, went to Oakland, and Carter has been with Houston as he is quickly down 0-2.
Something you don't ordinarily see is a big shift for a right-handed hitter. Look at
how far away from first base Mike Napoli is. That's not a comfortable feeling.
No, he's about halfway to second base.
You got one hopper to Middlebrooks. He's got a long way to go.
Outside for ball 1-2. I mentioned in the first outing for Buchholz against the Astros, he struck out a season-high 12 batters, complete game shutout in Houston at Minute Maid Park in his last start against them. This one fouled off Vasquez.
Vasquez is so tough back there. That ball hit him right off the face mask, and he acted like a mosquito landed on him. Oh, right off the forehead.
That was pretty flush right on.
Yeah. It was not a glancing blow.
No. Ball and 2 strikes to Carter with 2 down. Bases empty here for the Astros. Fouled off to the right, out of play.
Now, Carter's one of those guys that's really had some amazing numbers in the second half. When the Red Sox went down right before the All-Star break and played in Houston, Carter was hitting .203 with 19 homers and 39 RBIs. He's got that average up to .230, and that's a pretty big jump in a short period of time, almost 30 points. But now he has 28 homers and 67 RBIs.
Laces this foul back into the seats.
"15 home runs he's hit since the beginning of July.
And since July 1st, he's hit at .311 to get that batting average up to where it is. You mentioned just .230, but get that many at-bats in that time of the year, it's certainly tough to move that number around. And there's a strikeout for Buchholz in a good first inning. 2 strikeouts and a flyout. It's 1-2-3. Red Sox coming up. Bottom of the first inning. Red Sox lineup is brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Brock Holt leads it off in right field with Dustin Pedroia at second base. David Ortiz, the DH, batting third. Yoenis Cespedes in left field with Mike Napoli at first base. Xander Bogaerts at shortstop at sixth with Will Middlebrooks at third base. Jackie Bradley Jr. hitting at .400 in his career against the Astros. And Christian Vasquez does the catching and bats ninth. Brock Holt standing in to get it started here in the bottom of the first inning. And tonight, Holt is playing in right field. As he takes strike one from tonight's Astros starting pitcher, presented by New England Nissan dealers. Dallas Keuchel, his 23rd start of the year, 10-8 with a 3.07 earned run average, 112 Ks, and opponents hitting at 260 against him. Holt chops it up the middle, but it's the shortstop, Marwin Gonzalez, on the right side. Nice play. Off balance throw, gets it there in time to get Holt. Now look at the defense for the Astros. It is Matt Dominguez, Marwin Gonzalez, Jose Altuve, and John Singleton third to first in the outfield. Robbie Grossman, Dexter Fowler, and Jake Marisnick in right doing the catching. Jason Castro for Dallas Keuchel, as the Astros are 10th in the league in defense as Keuchel gets ready to work here to Dustin Pedroia. Pitch in there for a strike. I highlighted Dustin as part of our open, hitting at 285, 5 homers, 45 runs batted in.
Keuchel's easily been the best starter for this Houston Astro team so far this season. They say that one of the reasons why he's been so good, excellent preparation work, knows every hitter, knows what he wants to do against them. Plus he's got pretty good stuff. Nasty slider that people will chase. There it is in the dirt. And a pretty good sinking fastball. He gets a lot of ground balls. You see the spin on that slider right there. Took a lot off of that one too. 80 miles an hour.
Look at the ground outs. 220, and that leads Sonny Gray. Felix Hernandez as well is on the ground to third, and picking it Matt Dominguez. Long throw, and it is dug out on the other side for the out by John Singleton. Good play on both ends. Singleton with a good stretch and a good dig out over there as Pedroia is retired for the second out.
That's what you need, is excellent defense. If you're going to be a ground ball pitcher, someone's got to pick him up and throw him out. Outstanding defensive play, both ends, as you mentioned. Nice pick.
2 down here in the bottom of the first inning brings up David Ortiz. Mike Poppy checking in at 247 with 26 home runs, 85 runs batted in. Dallas Keuchel, last time out, handed a loss. Give up a total of 5 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings against the Texas Rangers. Ortiz jumping on the first pitch and fouling it off to the left.
Everybody knows that they're going to shift for Ortiz, but it was a modified shift for Brock Holt that started this inning. Kind of took a base hit away from him. Had they not shifted, that ball would have gone in for a hit, and then Pedroia's ball would have been in for a hit because Dominguez would have been playing more shallow.
Now tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. David Ortiz leading the American League in left-handed hitters with 26 home runs, 85 RBIs, and his 48 extra base hits, tied with Seattle's Kyle Seager for second in the American League among lefties. And David fouling that pitch off himself in a bit of pain, down 0-2. Keuchel, 26 years of age, and the final vote for the 2014 AL American League All-Star team.
That pitch right there, pretty much probably just to set up a slider down and away in the dirt, try to get him to chase.
There it is, and he does, and strikes out for strikeout for Keuchel. We are scoreless after 1 from the Fens. WEI Nesson Jimmy Fund Telethon presented by Arbella Insurance. Arbella Insurance Foundation, here for the Jimmy Fund, here for good. On to the second inning back at Fenway Park as Dexter Fowler, Jason Castro, and John Singleton to bat here in the inning. Clay Buchholz a clean first inning, 2 strikeouts and a fly out, and through 13 first inning pitches. Dexter Fowler, the center fielder and cleanup hitter for the Astros at .269 on the year. Duo pitch coming in and missing, 3-0.
How about the difference in the Colorado Rockies when you look at the team they used to be? Fowler came up in that organization. He's gone. Now Tulowitzki needs hip surgery. Gonzalez probably needs knee surgery.
How about the record?
Goodness.
47 and 74 on the year for the Rockies. They are 22 games behind the Dodgers in the National League West.
They got a chance.
You think? There's ball 4, and down to first base goes Fowler. So leadoff walk here. First base runner of the night for the Astros. Well, enjoy the rich taste of Farmhouse Blend coffee from Cumberland Farms. It's made from 100% Arabica coffee for the perfect balance of aroma, body, and taste. Stop in today for a cup of do-it-yourself coffee perfection for only 99 cents, any size. Leadoff walk to begin things here in the second inning, and now the catcher for the Astros, Jason Castro. It was 1 for 2 with a walk in last night's game. Astros had mounted a 4-0 advantage in the game, where the Red Sox scored 9 times. Buchholz missing inside with ball 1. Castro, who has 11 home runs this year, has joined current Astros TV announcer Alan Ashby as the only 2 catchers in club history to post 2 seasons with double-digit home runs. Throw to first, and diving back to the bag is Fowler.
I think Castro's one of those guys that you really have to pound inside. He's got a little bit of a hole in his swing there. You can jam him easily, get him to think away occasionally, and then just get back in his kitchen.
There's Alan Ashby doing the games now for the Astros. Back-to-back years of double-digit home runs. 1-0 pitch fouled back to the screen. Of course, the Astros are in the National League then. Now in the AL. Still takes some getting used to having the Astros in the American League.
Yes, it does. I think they're still getting used to it.
Yes. Bo Porter in the American League West, which is not easy. It's a pretty good division right now. The Oakland, LA, and even Seattle having a pretty good year this year. And Mariners have won 4 games in a row heading into tonight's action. Throw to first, and leaning in the other direction appeared to be Fowler. Does get back, though.
Fowler, not a huge threat to steal. Has just 6 stolen bases on the year, but he's been caught 3 times. He's so long and lanky. He has good speed, but not great quickness.
Well, keeping it in, but missing again. 2-1.
Castro was originally drafted by the Red Sox back in 05, and I don't know, Red Sox lost out to Stanford. Decided that's where he wanted to go to school.
Line down the first baseline, and by Napoli, that'll kick into the right field, and Holt will dig it out as heading to third base. Dexter Fowler gets there without a problem on a single by Jason Castro right down the line at first base.
That's such a tough play for a first baseman. How far do you come off of the bag? Napoli was very aggressive. He wasn't lazy back there. He got to his position quickly, but then that ball was shot right back down the line so quick he couldn't get back. Look at how, he's back there in position doing exactly what you're supposed to do as a first baseman. Sometimes you'll see guys just lazily come off the bag. They'll get about a foot off the bag. He probably would have caught it if he was lazy, but because he did his job, that ends up being a base hit.
So first and third, nobody out here, and the Astros threatening in the second inning. Here's John Singleton. And the breaking ball drops in there for strike one. So far, the curveballs look good for Clay Buchholz in the early going. Singleton hitting at just 186. Has 10 home runs, 35 runs batted in. It's 0 for 3 in the ball game last night. And he's 0 for his last 11 at the plate.
Singleton has been kind of an all-or-nothing masher. Doesn't hit for any average. You see the numbers with runners in scoring position, but he's a better off-field hitter. You would think that this ballpark he would love to come to, looking at that left field wall.
In the air down the right field line, it is headed foul. But he got a lot of that, but out ahead of it. Now, tomorrow, don't miss Red Sox first pitch presented by Men's Warehouse, proudly introducing Joseph Aboud. Adam Pellerin and Steve Lyons will take a look at this date in Red Sox history. It's tomorrow at 6 p.m. and it's on NESN. Did you know that? You're going to be on there tomorrow? Were you aware of that?
I was aware I was on there tomorrow.
All right.
Too worried about today to worry about Red Sox history tomorrow.
First and third, nobody out. Singleton down in the count, 1-2. In there for strike three. Buchholz needed that. Picks up his third strikeout and his first out here in the second inning.
Fantastic pitch. I've been critical of his cutter at times, but this is a great place to use it. You throw it away off of the plate and let it cut back and hit that corner. And Vasquez, as he's been known in his young career, just so great at framing the pitch exactly where he catches it. Sort of not like the way you do it in the open of the show when Jerry throws you the ball and you grab it and almost fall out of the booth trying to catch it.
Yes,
that's not the way to do it.
No, that's not.
Vasquez, that's the way to do it.
That is the same video that was taken, I think, about 4 years ago. I've gotten much better at catching since then. It needs to be fixed.
And you look exactly the same. It's amazing.
It's incredible. Up the middle, possible two. Bogaerts to second for one. On to first, a double play. A promising beginning to that inning for the Astros, and Buchholz gets out of the jam. Little help from his defense.
question, who is the most underrated player in baseball? Sox one for the Astros, second baseman and MLB hit leader Jose Altuve. Sox 2 for Oakland's Josh Donaldson, 25 home runs, 84 RBIs on the season. Sox 3 for Arizona's first baseman, batting 319 home runs, Paul Goldschmidt. Or Sox for Cleveland's right-hander Corey Kluber, 13-6 with a 2.45 ERA. Text your answer to 536-536. Message and data rates, those may apply. Text help if you need it. Visit NESN.com/terms for all that fun legal stuff. Guys, I'm going Corey Kluber because he's the only one on this list who wasn't a 2014 All-Star.
I'm going Josh Donaldson. I think people are starting to find out about Jose Altuve just because of what he's doing here. He's got a chance for a batting title, but I mean, Josh Donaldson, I think, gets lost out there in Oakland.
I think either your choice or Gary's choice are hitting it right on the head. The great 4 choices on that question, though. I don't think anybody can name 3 Oakland A's, period.
Well, Yoenis Cespedes was in Oakland A.
John Lester.
There's one.
There, we're done.
Now Cespedes, Napoli, and Bogaerts to bat here in the bottom of the second inning. A 1-pitch, a foul tip, and it's 0-2 to Cespedes.
I think you're so happy that Cespedes is here because it gives you a really cool name to say.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yoenis Cespedes.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? For you, it does anyway.
Is on the ground, foul outside of third. What are your impressions of Yoenis Cespedes so far?
I think that he makes a lot of guys in the order better.
Yep.
Not only that he's going to do some damage, and of course he had a couple big home runs that won games for this team late. 8th inning home runs.
Goes around there and strikes out. And Joyce ringing him up from first base. Second strikeout for Keuchel. 1 down. Ace Ticket, the official Red Sox ticket partner, has the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway, all the 200% guarantee. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games. Treat yourself or someone special. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. We have seen some ugly swings here against Keuchel so far.
Yeah. He has good stuff, and it seems like everything he throws is kind of boring down into the ground. That's why he gets so many ground balls.
Mike Napoli batting with 1 out, and Keuchel has retired the first 4 Red Sox that he has faced in the game tonight.
I think the other thing that Cespedes brings is it puts Napoli in the number 5 spot. I think that's where he belongs. We talk about lengthening out the lineup. Obviously, when you put a guy right in the middle of the order, yeah, duh. It lengthens out the lineup, but you can throw anybody in the number 4, and the Red Sox have been trying it all season long. You get a legit number 4 guy. That helps everybody else move into the spot that they're more comfortable with.
Mike Napoli in the 5 spot seems to fit really well.
Makes sense.
The 3-0 pitch now to Napoli. And Mike will take ball 4 and head on down to first base. First base runner of the night for Boston.
Napoli is one of the oddest combinations of a guy who swings the bat like he's playing beer league softball. I mean, he absolutely airs it out, and yet he has a great eye too. He rarely swings at bad pitches, strikes out a little bit, but usually when he strikes out, he's swinging through the ball. He's not swinging at a ball in the dirt very often. He has an outstanding eye and a huge swing. That's a rarity.
There's Xander Bogaerts, stands in and takes strike 1. They're at the top of the zone, maybe even out of the zone. Talking to Xander today about places to stay in Aruba. It was
planning your off season.
Well, yes, I am, as a matter of fact. And I was thinking, if anybody knows about Aruba, it'd be this guy, right?
Maybe.
So, spent a little time today. He went over a few of the places that I should be staying, so that's very good.
Yeah. You remember any of them?
Yes, I do.
Nice.
I wrote them down.
It's windy down there.
But the weather sounds like it's great, like every day.
Warm and windy.
I don't like windy because it messes up my moss. Swing and a miss. There's some culture for Xander. Favorite foods, barbecued ribs. Jason Stratham, The Expendables. Favorite artist is Drake. And the favorite place to visit is where he lives, Aruba.
Well, think about it. He doesn't get to be there that often.
That's true.
It's almost like a vacation when he goes home, too.
Swing and a miss, and Bogart strikes out 3 Ks now for Keuchel, 2 down.
Little extra giddy up on that one. 91 from Keuchel on that. Still with some good sink.
Here comes Will Middlebrooks with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Average of 181, 2 homers and 11 runs batted in. Will was 1 for 4 in the game last night with an RBI single. Came up with the bases loaded last night to drive in that run.
I think one of the good signs for Middlebrooks yesterday is that he hit the ball hard a number of his at-bats. In fact, the single that he got with the bases loaded was probably the softest ball he hit.
Yeah, forced out at second base is Napoli on the grounder that ends the second inning. Through 2, no score. As the Red Sox and Astros in the midst of a 4-game series. Rich Coppola from Fox Connecticut is with us, one of our partners through NESN, and it's great to see you again, Rich. Thanks
great to see you, Don. Always a pleasure. And to see Steve. And I want to know how many guys played for the Bristol Red Sox and New Britain Red Sox and then went on to play in the big leagues. There can't be many.
Yeah, right. You're right about that. Some guys never make it out of AA, I guess.
You played at the Beehive, did you?
I did indeed, first year.
The dimensions there, as I recall, were very difficult to hit home runs. A guy who played for this team, in fact, didn't have very many. And Jeff Bagwell, who played there at the time. That place
he played in New Britain Stadium.
Yes.
You're right. He was a line drive hitter who, even at University of Hartford, didn't hit a lot of home runs. In the big leagues, obviously, he had 400 and whatever it was, almost 500. But, both parks were. And the new one, New Britain Stadium, I think is probably a more difficult. I did home run derby there last year.
Yeah.
And you couldn't hit one out?
My back is shot, yeah. Not a good idea.
I believe the first season of the New Britain Red Sox there in 1983, there were only 11 home runs hit. Wow. Not just the home team, period, the entire season.
It's unbelievable. This is down to third base. Middlebrooks will throw him out. Reznicki is out, number 1 of the inning. Well, George Springer is a guy who's with the Astros, have a terrific year. Tell us a little bit about him, and he's from Connecticut as well.
He is. He's from New Britain, Connecticut, as we just spoke about. Big Red Sox fan growing up. He spoke yesterday about being here at Fenway Park when Mo Vaughan's Grand Slam beat, I think, the Mariners on opening day. Obviously, disappointed that he can't play. But you talk about a guy that program at UConn. Everyone knows about the great basketball programs, football program on the rise. Bob Diaco, the first-year head coach, but the baseball program under Jim Penner's done a tremendous job. When you have a Springer, a Mike Alt of the Cubs, the kid in Arizona right now, that's a program I think on the rise. And as I said, Jim Penner's done an outstanding job, and he was the highest Springer, the highest pick, I think number 11 overall in the draft.
He comes from an athletic family as well.
He does. His dad was a tremendous athlete as well. But he's just a great kid. A good chance to catch up with him before the game. I hadn't spoken to him since he was at UConn, so it was nice to see him. And he did the ALS challenge. We got that. I know, Steve, you said you've done it. I've done it. And everybody, who hasn't done it right now?
Thing's gone viral. I mean, it's been unbelievable.
Whoever hasn't been challenged, I guess, are the people that haven't. One of the things that I've heard about him as well is that he's a very coachable kid. Obviously, he's crushing the ball, hitting the ball out of the park. But they said they want to try to get him to use a little bit more of the field and go the other way so he strikes out fewer times. And they said he's working so diligently at that.
Yeah, and I think, as you know, Steve, I mean, it's a game of adjustments, and as pitchers begin to adjust to him, he's going to have to adjust to them, maybe use the field. I think you mentioned before with Pedroia, why is his average on the rise? He's using the right side of the field again, not pulling the ball so much.
Marlon Gonzalez sends one out to deep right field, but Brock Holt has room and puts it away for the second out. We always seem to get here in this conversation by years. The line in Connecticut, and I'm always a little, my entire family's now, again, my mom, my dad, my sister, they all live in Connecticut. So, but where is this line that this imaginary line between Red Sox and Yankees? Would you say?
People say Waterbury, people say Meriden. The bottom line, Don, is there's Red Sox fans in Fairfield County.
Okay.
There are Yankees fans in Hartford County. Yep. I grew up in the town East Haven, New Haven County. My next-door neighbor, father, diehard Red Sox fan. Last name is Inglis, like Kathy Inglis, a former basketball coach at BC. Next two boys, big Yankees fans. Third child, a girl, Red Sox fans.
It's more of a family line than it is a geographical
It's not
line.
even friendships divided. It's even families divided, too. So that makes it great.
Where do they go wrong? Where do they go wrong?
Oh, it's all good. They're pretty good choices.
Just think about how great it is to really to be, within 2 hours of going, either way. I've been here, Yankee Stadium, and back here. Now this is 3 times in the last couple of weeks. I mean, how great is that? Just epic ballparks and great teams.
It's going to be a great area for you to cover all these years that you have done it there, and certainly between the two major league teams, but all the college sports going on there, UConn and everything else, keeps you guys busy certainly year round.
Well, and as I mentioned, Jim Penner's, everyone knows that Jim Calhoun's and Gino Auriemma's from UConn, and now Kevin Ollie, of course, winning the national championship last year. But Penner's is a guy that they may not know about around the country, but he's done a terrific job there. Ray Reid, the soccer coach there. I mean, it goes on and on. And there's at Quinnipiac University, I've been involved with Quinnipiac hockey on Nesson for a number of years doing color. Reached the Frozen Four a couple of years ago and lose to Yale. So with 2 teams, I covered the Frozen Four. Last year I was here for the World Series, did the Super Bowl and the Final Four. So been kind of busy, but all fun, obviously.
I would say so. It's all good stuff. Now Buchholz falling behind here at 3-1, and there is strike 2. Is there a chance the Hartford Whalers could come back, do you think, at any point?
I get asked that all the time, Don. I just, first off, they need a new building. I think nothing can happen until you get a new building. And from what has been said, that's a ways down the line, unfortunately. But,
that is a fair ball right up over the bag. Been busy down there as Napoli can't get it. Heading for second base as Grossman throw is going to be tardy, and he is in safely with a 2-out double.
I was going to say that Steve and I, before the game, had a chance to talk for a few minutes, and I mentioned the importance of Buchholz really pitching well, and he said, not even looking ahead to next year, but pitching well right here. And why do you guys think he's had such kind of an up and down season? He's got a load of talent. Obviously, it's had great success, but kind of an uneven year for him. Just Steve, do you think it's baseball? I mean, that's what happens.
Yeah, I think he's had a little bit tougher time adjusting to the fact that he doesn't have the real good giddy up on the fastball anymore, and he's gone to the cutter a lot more often. In my opinion, I think that he gets himself in trouble with that cutter more than it helps him. So now I think he's really starting to develop his other pitches and throwing those more often, and I think that's a step in the right direction for him. But, I mean, he does have, and always has had lights-out type of stuff, and you just have to be able to figure out how to use it.
Dealing with Altuve now, grounds it foul as Buchholz back to the stretch here, the runner at second base and 2 down.
Yeah, when you talk about we talked about the Beehive and New Britain. It brings back such great memories. I remember just saw the guys. I saw Vaughn play there, but I go back even further with Bristol. The Yankees had a team in West Haven as well. So obviously, you'd go back and forth between Bristol and West Haven, and Rice and Lynn when those guys were in Bristol, and Doc Medich was in West Haven, Charlie Spikes, Tony Salita. These are names that you guys are probably too young to remember.
Oh no, we remember about it. We played down there too, West Haven, when I was my first year in AA was in Bristol. Then the team moved to New Britain, and it was obviously just a lot of fun. I mean, my real first opportunity to taste winning as a professional athlete was in New Britain. We won the championship in 1983 in the first year of existence there, so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, in West Haven, the Quigley Stadium still stands. They play high school football there.
And with the light standards inside,
in the field,
and the big net out and right.
Yep, and in the
I couldn't hit it over that thing.
And I was at a game one night. It got fogged out. It was so close to the sound, it just got fogged. You couldn't see the outfielders.
Who else was on your squad that year? Do you remember the championship team? Anybody we know?
No.
Nobody.
No. Mark Sullivan was on a team. There was
the
next year, obviously, in New Britain, Roger Clemens came for the last 6 games of the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, he's a guy I remember.
He went 6-0 in the playoffs. We won. That's probably why we won.
Hey,
of course, the next year he's in the big leagues.
How great do you think? I could just only imagine. I spoke with Joe Castiglione before, of course, a Hamden, Connecticut native.
Yes.
How great was it last night to have those guys, that class together?
It was outstanding. Yeah, as Bradley backs up and makes the catch. It was a terrific night. Great to have you with us up here again,
Great
Rich.
to see you again.
Enjoy the partnership.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, and yes, the Red Sox coming through on their end. There's the man himself, Pete Frates. What an inspiration. His wife, Julie, doing the honors yesterday right in front of the monster. And then Will Middlebrooks, John Farrell, they got doused too, thanks in part to Dustin Pedroia, Tom, the equipment guy, and of course, Wally. Some fantastic pre-game festivities. Pete Frates, what a legend. His wife hooking him up with the ALS Challenge, dousing him. Who's on the clock next? John Farrell calling out his good buddies Tito Francona and Joe Girardi. You guys got 24 hours.
All right, thanks very much, Gary. As Jackie Bradley Jr. tried to bunt his way on, but ended up bunting it right back to the pitcher, Dallas Keuchel. And Bradley Jr. retired at first base. Is that something you'd like to see more of Jackie Bradley? Maybe bunting every now and again, something different?
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't done it more often. He does have good speed. He's not a burner. He's not, hit when he steals a base. He's really smart about it. He's successful so many times. But when you're struggling, you have to use those weapons to kind of help you out. And he hasn't done much of it at all.
Well, he's the first out here of the third inning. Christian Vasquez Shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes a strike. Dallas Keuchel has been impressive so far here tonight, and Red Sox have struck out 3 times in the game so far, 2 1/3 innings. Vasquez getting his first look here against Keuchel. It's outside, and it's even at 1-1.
Very small sample size, but so far as Vasquez has struggled against left-handed pitching. Just 1 for 14.
Down the line at first and almost fair. Wow.
Man. Well, that just took a wicked hop there and caught the ball girl. Talked at length to Vasquez yesterday about his approach at the plate, just trying to drive the ball the other way, let the ball get into the zone, and then spank it back out of there. And he had 2 hits either up the middle or the other way last night and drove in the sacrifice fly on a ball to the right fielder. So really working his game plan.
And Vasquez here down on the count 1-2 with 1 out here in the 3rd inning. '30th pitch for Keuchel, and that's going to bounce in for ball 2. Well, it's been fun to watch Christian Vasquez so far from a defensive standpoint. Not afraid to throw to any base. He's got that kind of arm. Might as well.
I love that. Love an active catcher back there, making sure that anybody who's on base has to pay attention.
Gonzalez plants himself and throws out Vasquez for the 2nd out of the inning. Now, for every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy make a donation to Boston Children's Hospital towards a $25,000 donation once again this season. CVS Pharmacy, the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Brock Holt coming up. Grounded out to the shortstop Marwin Gonzalez in the 1st inning. He's 0 for 1.
Holt's hit in 11 of his last 12 games, but hasn't been the multi-hit Brock Holt that we've come to know and love, hitting just .269 during that stretch. He had that one bad period where he went 3 for 35.
Pedroia waiting on deck behind him. Kind of waiting as he was continuing to flourish for when advanced scouts are going to start to perhaps pick away and some of the weaknesses they may notice, but he seems to be making adjustments as time goes on, and that's really what you got to do.
Yeah, I think he wants to let the ball get deep in the zone and go to left field. It's his natural stroke. I think people are starting to pitch him inside more, trying to force him to try to pull the ball a little more often. He certainly gets hits to right field, but he'd much rather see a ball in the middle of the plate, middle away, and poke it into left.
Well, he grounds this left side. Matt Dominguez going to have no play, as reaching at first base with the infield hit is Brock Holt. First hit of the night for the Red Sox. And there you go. All the way, and he goes with it.
Yep, just kind of, you look at the shift they had on right now, kind of hurt him. They took a base hit away from him in his last at-bat because of the shift, and this time, smart move by Dominguez. Just put that in your back pocket. You're never throwing out Holt. I'm just surprised that they shift on him because, we've watched him all year long hit base hit after base hit in the left field, and they're playing him like he's a dead pull hitter.
Well, the hitting streak up to 9 games now for Brock Holt, who's at first base with 2 down. Dustin Pedroia getting his second look tonight at Dallas Keuchel, as Pedroia grounded out to third base in the first inning, 0 for 1. Pedroia may have gone around. They check. He did not, says Jim Joyce.
Ooh. A little bit of a break right there, I think.
Yep.
It's one of the things that a lot of people might not know about at nighttime. Guys that use black bats, they're very hard to see.
Really?
If you're an umpire or if you're an outfielder, the black bats don't register very well. You can't see them. You can't see a guy swing his bat. I think that's as much a reason why guys use them as for anything else. I remember playing in center field here at Fenway, and a guy like Paul Molitor, who used to have just a really quiet, short swing. Sometimes he'd swing the bat, and you'd almost not recognize that he did because he didn't have a whole lot of movement, but you didn't see that white piece of ash flying through the hitting zone. You almost see nothing.
Pedroia down 1-2 as Keuchel deals his 40th pitch and misses up top. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to Pedroia.
Once again, just a setup pitch right there. Throw the ball up in the zone so he can go back down. Maybe a hard slider down and in to Pedroia or another sinking fastball. This pitch will definitely be below the belt.
Too far inside, though, and it's a full count.
That's great discipline by Pedroia. Did exactly what he wanted to do. Came in with the slider down and in. And Pedroia said,
Swing and a miss. That one's by him at 92 miles an hour. A fastball in. 4 strikeouts for Keuchel. No score from Fenway. Community strong. That's why they've been named the #1 SBA lender in Massachusetts 5 years in a row. Eastern Bank, here, your first. A beautiful night tonight in Boston. The Red Sox and Houston Astros playing the second game of a weekend 4-game series. We're scoreless into the 4th inning, and it's Chris Carter leads it off here for the Astros. Carter, Fowler, and Castro to face Clay Buchholz. Carter jumping on the first pitch and fouling it back. He struck out looking in the first inning. One of 3 strikeouts so far tonight for Clay Buchholz. They've all been called third strikes. And again, the Red Sox shifting on the left side against Carter for him to pull. Down 0-2. Another breaking ball that time from Buchholz.
Carter has some really ironic stats when you talk about what he's been able to do. He holds the Astro record for being the only player to start 40-plus games at 3 different positions. And yet they tell you his position is DH. They don't want him with a glove on his hand ever.
Well, he strikes out a breaking ball, back-to-back curveballs for Buchholz, and that's 4 strikeouts now for Clay.
Good breaking ball right there. Look at the late movement. Really good break on that thing. Watch it go all the way off the plate.
Amica Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. One down here in the 4th inning. Dexter Fowler, the batter. He walked in the 2nd inning. Only walk given up by Buchholz. This one fouled off to the left out of play. You and I did the worst game of the year for Clay Buchholz in Atlanta when he walked 8 in 3 innings. And after that game ended up going on the DL. But he was, at that point, really reaching the lowest point of his season.
Yeah, I think that, that DL stint was a little bit as much of a mental break for him as it was the knee injury. I think maybe the easiest buzzword you could use about Buchholz this season has just been inconsistent. I think he's pitching with a little bit better purpose tonight. I know John Farrell talks about he needs him to pitch with conviction. Oh, that's a good pitch. That's a good pitch right there. Look at Vasquez frame that thing on the plate. Didn't get the call.
Fowler with a very interesting swing.
Emergency.
As a fastball, and it was already in the glove.
Right by him.
Back-to-back case for Buchholz.
Fowler was either just completely fooled by the pitch or sitting on something else.
So 2 down here in the 4th inning brings up Jason Castro. Single to right field in the 2nd inning. One of 2 hits for the Astros. And both have been right down the first base line by Napoli. Could do nothing about either one of them. They're diving down that first base line. Big gap out there in right center field. They move Jackie Bradley Jr. over towards the left center a step or 2. John Singleton waiting on deck. 2 down here in the top half of the 4th inning. Tomorrow morning on Dining Playbook with Billy Costa and Jenny Johnson come to you from Legal Harborside, giving Craig Breslow's top 5 spots to eat in the city. Cooking with Jason Santos, and they'll check in with the new kids on the block. It all begins tomorrow at 9 a.m.
We've seen some great plays in the stands today.
Nice.
Got it. Barehanded again.
The 1-2 pitch grounded foul again. Best opportunity of the game came for Houston in the 2nd inning when they had 1st and 3rd, nobody out. But Buchholz struck out John Singleton, then he induced a 6-4-3 double play, grounded into by Matt Dominguez. On the ground and a fair ball. Napoli gets it this time and flips to Buchholz, who was there to cover. Nicely done. They're going down that first base line again. Coming up, Ortiz, Cespedes, and Napoli. Your community. Eastern Bank is committed to putting you first. Learn all the ways Eastern puts you first at easternbank.com. A beautiful night tonight in Boston. Second game of this 4-game series. And a nice play by Mike Napoli to end last inning.
See once again Napoli in great position to make the play, but watch how quickly Buchholz is over there waiting for the throw. That's key to making that play easy, is getting your pitcher over there off the mound and covering first.
David Ortiz with a shift on up the middle, but it glances off the glove of Gonzalez, and David will reach. Well, they had him positioned perfectly, but hit so hard and glancing off the shortstop Gonzalez, and Ortiz aboard.
David doesn't want to have to bust it down the line that hard to get a base hit. He sees this ball glance off the glove, and he knows he's going to really have to get down that line, or someone could pick it up and still throw you out. It's just so funny to see a ball get hit to this second baseman, but it's actually the shortstop.
They ruled a base hit for David Ortiz on the play, so that is the second Red Sox hit of the night. Lead runner on for Boston. Here's Yoenis Cespedes, a strikeout victim in the second inning. 4 Ks so far for Keuchel.
That's just a wicked swing right there by Cespedes. He wants to get the ball up in the zone. Keuchel's the kind of guy that just, we showed you the graphic earlier, gets so many ground balls. As a hitter, you need to try to get him to get that ball up around your belt.
Keuchel, a 7th round pick back in 2009. He's out of the University of Arkansas. Made his major league debut in June of 2012, and an all-star this year representing the Astros. Jumps ahead of Cespedes 0-2. Keuchel last year finished the year 6-10. Comes into tonight's action at 10-8. In the air to left, back towards the monster seats and gone. On a line. 2-run home run and his first Fenway home run in a Red Sox uniform. Yoenis Cespedes with one swing of the bat puts the Red Sox on top 2-0. That got out of here in a hurry.
That's a laser beam right there. Goodness. Keuchel had done such a great job in this game of setting hitters up with waste pitches. On an 0-2 pitch, he went for the kill, and he hung that just a little bit. Slider about knee-high, didn't bury it like he wanted to, and Cespedes did. Well, you got to watch out there. Someone could get hurt.
3rd season in the majors, 3rd season that he has had 20 or more home runs. That is number 20. 3rd in a Red Sox uniform. Now Napoli will take a pitch outside. Alltown, New England's premier convenience retailer, committed to supporting the communities they serve. For every home run the Red Sox hit the rest of the season, Alltown will donate $500 to the Cystic Fibrosis Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. Visit www.cfmsfund.org for more information. Well, Yoenis Cespedes with a 2-run home run. RBI 76 and 77 on the year. I think about that move for the Oakland A's in each of the last 2 years in the postseason. The A's having trouble hitting against the Detroit Tigers and eliminated by the Tigers in back-to-back 5-game series in the ALDS. And you kind of wonder about, the trade that they make with the middle of their order guy like Cespedes coming out of their order. And you start thinking about the A's in the postseason. They're going to miss Cespedes.
Yes, they will. Unfortunately, I think most people believe that when you get to that point in the season, and the Red Sox proved it last year, they didn't hit, and they won it. And they won it because of their pitching. Some timely hitting. But, boy, I mean, as a team, you take David Ortiz out of the mix there, you're talking about a team that hit sub-200 and still won the World Series. So They felt like they needed another power arm in order to propel them into the World Series this year. That guy right there was a tough guy to give up to get it, though.
Yoenis Cespedes under the Red Sox control for next year as well. Xander Bogaerts checks in, the strikeout victim in the second inning, 0 for 1. Now chopper to third. Dominguez is going to go to second base for 1. They're going to try for 2, but no chance. Bogaerts down the line. They retired Napoli at second base on the force out. But Bogaerts aboard at first base. Hey, Red Sox Nation, get a free medium beverage when you enroll in the Dunkin' Donuts Rewards Program, DD Perks. Enroll at ddperks.com, then just pay with your registered DD card or the DD mobile app to earn points towards more free beverages. It's Dunkin's way of rewarding their loyal fans. Enroll today at ddperks.com. The Red Sox run on Dunkin'. 1 out, 1 on. Will Middlebrooks grounded into a fielder's choice in the second inning. Middlebrooks now with Bradley Jr. waiting on deck. Red Sox batting here in the home half of the fourth inning. Chopped down the third baseline. It's a foul ball. Matt Dominguez stepping into foul ground to retrieve it. Will's going to have to come on back. What are you seeing in Middlebrooks at this stage of the year?
You know, I think I've seen some better at-bats than I did earlier on, and I think maybe health might be part of that issue. Obviously, we know he's had trouble with fingers and hands and other issues. But just being just a little late, just not quite there, you know, to display the power that he has. Just needs to get out front just a little bit better. You see sometimes where he'll get a really good pitch to hit and foul it off. In the big leagues, you don't get a second chance. You know, the guys don't make mistakes twice in the same at-bat.
Grounder softly this time. It is a fair ball, and the throw is going to be close, and they get him at first base. Well, Matt Dominguez that time challenged at third base and guns down Middlebrooks as Bogaerts takes second with 2 down in the inning.
Dominguez not really known for his defense. He's kind of a all hit, no field guy, but he's looked really good today. I snagged that ball right before it got to third base.
He did get him. 2 down as Bogaerts at second base now, and here's Jackie Bradley Jr. Bradley trying to bunt his way on last time up and bunted it right back to the pitcher, Dallas Keuchel. And their first strike, and it evens at 1-1. The infield hit for David Ortiz to get the inning started, then the 2-run home run, the line drive for Cespedes. And a swing and a miss at Bradley Jr. lunging.
Well, it's one thing that Jackie Bradley really needs to work on is shortening that swing down. He's got a pretty big swing for a guy who's not a power guy. You know, 1 home run all season long. He needs to be more of a spray hitter. Hit the ball up the middle and the other way. Shorten that thing down.
Strikes out here to end things in the fourth inning, but a 2-run home run for Yoenis Cespedes, his 20th of the year, puts the Red Sox on top 2-0. Tweet your photo to hashtag NESN Fan Photo for a chance to be shown in our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Tonight's fan photo was submitted by Steve. Steve took his grandson to his very first Red Sox game. He had a good time, a little bit of ice cream.
Just a little bit.
It's like our own Steve Lyons, who has to have ice cream every night, and not just a little bit of ice cream. There's a lot of ice cream, a lot of different stuff in it, too.
Oh, it's a production.
I mean, you pride yourself in putting that together, that masterpiece every night in the press room, wherever you are, Almore Road.
Sometimes it's so pretty, I have a tough time eating it.
It's unbelievable.
I go Butterfinger, crushed up Butterfingers on the bottom before even any ice cream goes in there. Then some ice cream, swirl, not just one flavor. Swirling the ice cream. Then the Reese's Pieces on top of that. Then the caramel sauce. And then tonight, the extra special flavor. They had peanuts up there, too, so I wanted some peanuts. All that.
It's not a buffet, I mean, the entire ice cream area. I mean,
there's a bunch of stuff that you can use. I say use it.
You use it all.
Yes.
It doesn't go to waste.
It's
unbelievable. There's a tower of ice cream and stuff. Many different levels of stuff. It's impressive.
If they had marshmallow cream, I'd be just a little happier.
John Singleton leading it off, taking a pitch up high. Right now, the worst job in the ballpark is ball attendant. That guy just got into the stomach down the right field line, I think, on that hop. There have been some bad hops down there.
He's the relief.
Yes, he's filling
ball
in.
Guy, too.
Pitch outside, and the count is 2-2.
Yeah.
I think this is right in the kitchen. Yep.
Oh, well, there's a reason you have that glove on. It knocked him off his bucket. He corralled it, though.
Yes.
Some of the better plays are being made in the stands today.
This one fouled off to the left, out of play, up into the stands. Buchholz with 5 strikeouts through the first 4 innings in tonight's game, and now has a 2-run lead to work with as he takes the hill here in the 5th inning, dealing with 6, 7, and 8 for the Astros. Curveball, and he strikes him out with it. 6K, second time he's got Singleton.
It's been a good pitch for him today, the breaking ball. Look at it, right over the top. Nice downer right there. You can remember earlier in Buchholz's career when he was more of an over-the-top pitcher. That was such a great pitch for him. Just a big 12-6 curveball. He's kind of changed his arm angle a little bit. Started throwing that cutter more often. He's a little bit more 3/4.
I remember his no-hitter against the Baltimore Orioles, whose final out was one of those 12-6 curveballs to Nick Markakis. And you're right, it was right up over the top. And that was, of course, in the 9th inning of his outing. Still extremely sharp. And there was some of the time that felt like getting a no-hitter in your second major league start may have set his development back a little bit, because after that he seemed to struggle.
Yeah.
With that kind of success, all of a sudden you think you got it figured out when you really don't.
And there's not a lot of guys that throw directly over the top anymore. There's different arm slots that you throw out of. Usually you find a comfort level and go from there. But I'd have to say that if you're a guy that's going to rely on a true curveball, you have to be more of an over-the-top guy. That's how you get the spin on the ball. If you start to be a 3/4 guy, your curveball spins a little bit differently. It doesn't have that same break, doesn't have the same bite. That's why they start going more to sliders and cutters and different pitches rather than a big overhand curveball if you don't throw overhand anymore.
That one does not break the way he wanted to. Frustrated by it. 2-2. Dominguez bounced into a 6-4-3 double play back in the 2nd inning.
Keep the ball in the outer half to him. This guy's a dead pull hitter.
Swings and misses and strikes out. That's 7 strikeouts now for Buchholz. Back to back here in the 5th, 2 down.
They went in, and he's got some good tail on this pitch. Look at the late sink on that. 2-seam fastball. Good pitch. Well, you have to put that pitch in that location if you want to get a guy like Dominguez out. If you're going to go in on him.
2 down in the 5th inning. Jake Marisnick, the batter, he grounded out to third base in the 3rd inning. takes strike one. Well, this season, Buchholz has struck out 19 Astros this year, 12 in his first outing, 7 so far tonight. This is lined and over the outstretched glove of Bogaerts. Looked like he may get that as he tried to time the leap perfectly, but it gets up and over him. And a 2-out base hit for Jake Marisnick. The Red Sox Foundation helps children play ball for fun, health, and for life. One way they do that is through the RBI program, reviving baseball in inner cities. We salute our friendship with Hood, who support the Red Sox Foundation. Play ball for life.
It's a tough play for any middle infielder to be running away from the play, try to time your jump, and still know where the ball is. That one just got over his head and into the outfield before he could get there.
So a 2-out base runner in Jake Marisnick and Marwin Gonzalez, the batter.
How about that hitting stance from Gonzalez with his hands right at his belt? Can guarantee you that he was having a little bit of trouble loading up his swing. And so what they've done is they've forced him into a bad hitting position to begin with. So it forces him to get to a better position before he swings the bat. No one's going to swing the bat from right there. Watch as the pitch comes, what he does. Gets it ready.
That's quickly through the right side into right field for a base hit. Marisnick heading for third base as Holt will run it back into the infield a little bit and fire into second base. But all of a sudden the 8-9 men making some noise here for the Astros. First and third with 2 down on back-to-back base hits.
Look, location right there. That ball kind of tailed back out over the middle of the plate. They wanted it farther inside and it didn't get there. That's why pitching to me is so scary. I mean, I wasn't a good hitter, but you watch from up here and you see how fine the pitches have to be in order to get a guy out.
Grossman hits onto the ground and through Napoli into right field. From third base comes Marisnick, and on to third goes Gonzalez. As Napoli seemed to be in between as whether we want to play that with a forehand or go to the backhand, and in the meantime it's by him.
Yep, this ball gets on him quickly, but it's an easier backhand play. He kind of tried to get in front of it. Just backhand that ball, turn your glove over. Can even drop to a knee and backhand that ball and then just stand up and get the out. Well, he did try to backhand. I thought he was kind of trying to forehand it too. He flipped it over a little bit after it went by him.
So first and third again, and the Astros on the board. 3 straight hits and RBI for Robbie Grossman. And a 2-1 Red Sox lead, but now the best hitter average-wise in the American League standing in, and Altuve will take the curveball for strike one. Right down the middle as it turned out, it buckled him. Marwin Gonzalez at third base, Robbie Grossman at first base. Reaches out, pokes it foul, 0-2.
There's a lot of people in the Astro organization that think that Altuve is having the year he's having this season because he didn't play winter ball this year. Showed up at spring training a little stronger, a little more well rested. Had one of the great first halves of anybody. Only the second guy since 1933 to have 125 plus hits and 40 plus stolen bases in the first half.
Pedroia will go to first base for the out that ends the inning, but the Astros are on the board. They pick up a run. We're halfway through, 2-1 Boston. The end of summer family pack brought to you by our friends at Boston Duck Tours and the shops at the Prudential Center. This special package includes tickets, free parking at the Prudential Center garage, and free Boston Duck Tour rides to and from Fenway Park. Fans can purchase tickets at redsox.com/familypacks. And the Red Sox enjoy a 2-1 lead as they come to bat here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Dallas Keuchel back on the mound, 60 pitches through the first 4 innings. Christian Vazquez lines one foul. Very close down that third base line.
I was kind of thinking earlier that the ball attendant down the third base line has got to be a little leery knowing everything that's been going on down the right field line. Maybe hoping no one would have hit one down there to her.
This will bounce in, and it's a ball and a strike now to Vazquez, getting his second look at Keuchel in the game. He grounded out to shortstop Marwin Gonzalez in the 3rd inning. Line foul again into the seats. Strike 3 call. Vazquez knew it and takes with him the 6th strikeout for Keuchel. 1 down here in the 5th.
Well, Vazquez got some pitches to hit early in the count and pulled them both foul, and then just gets abused right there with a nice 2-seam fastball, outer half on the knees. Tough to hit.
Pitching line brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. Keuchel 4 1/3, 3 hits, 2 runs. Walked 2, struck out 6, and about to throw his 65th pitch of the night. The mistake he's made, the 2-run home run to Yoenis Cespedes in the 4th inning. Look out, straightens up Holt and evens the count at 1-1. Rock's got a base hit, infield hit in the 3rd inning as they employed the full shift on him, and he ended up grounding to the 3rd baseman, Matt Dominguez. This time they do not. A little bit low for ball 2.
Have to admit, taking a little heat on Twitter after I said nobody could name 3 Oakland A's. Of course, someone reminded me that half the Oakland A's all are former Red Sox, so most Red Sox fans could name a bunch of them.
Now Altuve throws out Brock Holt, and there are 2 down.
Lester, Lowry, Reddick, Moss, Crisp.
There are a couple guys. Yeah.
Punto.
RBI Baseball is back with all 30 MLB teams and 2014 players. Get the retro 2-button style baseball game you've been missing. Visit RBIGame.com for more details and download today on your console and mobile device. 2 outs here in the 5th inning for Dustin Pedroia. 0 for 2 in the game. He's grounded out to 3rd, struck out swinging. Talking about the Seattle Mariners earlier, a team that has made some improvements this year. They have won 4 straight games, 8 out of their last 10, and winning again tonight against the Tigers 5-1. They're in the 4th inning in Detroit.
It's a team that's banked heavily on some younger talent, and they're finally starting to come around. A couple years of experience for those guys. Pretty good pitching staff.
Anytime you got Felix Hernandez at the top of your staff, you're heading in the right direction.
It's like an automatic win every 5th day.
David Ortiz on deck, 2 down here in the 5th inning. And Pedroia strikes out again. Twice Keuchel has gotten him. 7 strikeouts for Keuchel, 2-1 Sox. Clubhouse, where kids run the show. How do baseball players use momentum? Find out at the Museum of Science. Plus, we learn what it's like to be a Fenway Park ball girl. And it's the final and deciding round of Batter Up with D'Angelo Ortiz. Don't miss NESN Clubhouse live and commercial-free Sunday at noon. 2-1, Red Sox have the lead over the Astros. Into the top half of the sixth inning we go. 3, 4, and 5 for Houston to bat in the inning. It's Chris Carter, Dexter Fowler, and Jason Castro. Glenn Buchholz with his 75th pitch of his outing. Misses outside for ball one. Astros getting their run in this game last inning. RBI single for Robbie Grossman.
Most of their base hits coming to the right side, but I really like the way Buchholz's pace of game has picked up by leaps and bounds, really. I know that when he gets in trouble, he slows down a little bit, but he can be very slow sometimes when nobody's on base. And tonight, getting the ball and throwing it.
To center field and a base hit for Chris Carter. His first hit of the night. He had struck out twice. But a leadoff single here. It's time for a Toyota game break and Adam Pellerin. Adam? All right, Adam, thanks very much. Back here at Fenway Park, Red Sox holding on to a 2-1 advantage with the Astros getting their leadoff hitter on here to begin the sixth inning. Now Dexter Fowler, the batter. He has walked and struck out swinging.
You know, they say Chris Carter is 6'4", 250. But look at him standing next to Napoli. He looks like he's 6'9", 290.
Yeah, it does. Mike Napoli's not small.
He's not a small guy. Carter's enormous.
Breaking ball fouled off. Gets a piece of Vasquez, and it is 1-1.
Hi, my name's Mike Napoli. I'm 5'4". That's just amazing. He only weighs 250. Now, what happens when he puts the other foot on the scale? Come on.
80th pitch for Buchholz, with Middlebrooks in on the grass at third and Fowler jumping back out of the way.
I like where Middlebrooks is playing. I don't think he's playing there because he thinks Fowler will bunt, although that's a possibility. But he's making sure that he takes away that possibility from him. Going to make Fowler swing the bat, potentially bounce into a double play ball.
Throw to first, and back is Carter.
That's a hard position to be in when you're the third baseman and you have kind of a modified shift towards the middle of the field. You see how far off of third base he's playing. If Fowler drops a bunt down, it's a tough play for the third baseman to run towards the line and then make a throw to first.
Fowler bats now with Castro waiting on deck. Castro's batting here in the sixth inning.
I would say if there was anyone else on base except Carter, you might be thinking about putting him in motion.
Swing and a miss.
Great running fastball right there past Dexter Fowler.
Only registered at 89 miles an hour.
Yep, just kind of took it off, tried to get a little bit more extra movement, more of a running fastball than a sinker. I think he wants to come back with that big breaking ball again.
That's what it looks like it's coming. 3-2 the count here to Fowler. Struck out in the 4th inning. And gets a piece of the breaking ball this time. Well, don't miss the $20 million Summer of Dreams at Foxwoods Resort Casino. Discover the hottest events and specials every day throughout the resort all summer long. Visit foxwoods.com. Carter at first base. Nobody out here in the top half of the 6th inning. Fowler strikes out looking. Right on that inside corner, and Fowler takes with him the 8th strikeout for Clay Buchholz.
Fowler was asking if that pitch came back. Didn't really come back that much. That caught a lot of the plate. You got to swing at that one.
Pitching line for Clay Buchholz brought to you by Ace Ticket. 5 1/3, 6 hits, a run, a walk, and now 8 strikeouts. About to throw his 85th pitch of his outing with 1 down here in the 6th. Jason Castro, the batter. In the air, down the left field line, foul as Middlebrooks goes as far as he can, but well back into the seats.
Oh, we should probably wish Buchholz a happy birthday. It was yesterday.
Clay hoping to enjoy his birthday day after with a win tonight.
Yeah.
There's a 2-1 lead working in the 6th inning.
I believe it's his 30th birthday.
It is indeed, or was, yesterday.
Yeah, we're celebrating today.
Foul back, 0-2.
Got away with a mistake right there. You saw Vasquez kind of creep outside, looking for that pitch to be away. And that pitch was right down the middle. Look where Vasquez is set up. And that's a good pitch to hit. A lot of hitters will tell you they don't generally get to see 2 mistakes in 1 at-bat. Castro knows he's going to have to bear down right now if he wants to get them. And Napoli better be ready down there.
Buchholz with an 0-2 pitch to Jason Castro with Carter at first base and 1 out. A little bit low that time, 1-2. Buchholz slowing it down here with the runner on and 1 out in the 6th inning. Coming too far inside that time. 2-2.
Vasquez and the home plate umpire have a little communication. Watch Vasquez tap him on the shin guard there, saying, get out of the way a little bit because I'm going to set up inside. And the way the umpire's stance is a little bit in the way if Vasquez wants to move inside. They just talk to each other. Well, he is going to be fun to watch behind the plate. And you don't say that about a lot of catchers. You know?
No. Think of Salvador Perez, who catches for the Kansas City Royals. He's been fun to watch.
You know, in the old days, Pudge Rodriguez. And certainly the Flying Molina brothers.
Yeah, we miss Yadier, of course, on the DL when the Red Sox were in St. Louis.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, too, considering like Swihart. also an outstanding catcher who hits 300 everywhere he goes.
On the ground, foul. We'll do it again, 3-2. That makes its way in the Red Sox dugout. Rattles around down there.
You'd have to think over the next couple seasons that either one of those players won't be in a Red Sox uniform anymore, or they'll switch positions. But you got to think they're both such outstanding defensive catchers. You'd leave them there and let them catch. But one of them maybe put in a deal to improve this ball club over the next couple seasons.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. That's 9 strikeouts for Buchholz. Back-to-back case here in the 6th inning. Set it down to Gary.
Psycho, riddle me this. I was talking to Christian Vasquez after a comment made by Alan Webster yesterday saying that Vasquez, he's a small, compact catcher, but he seems to be able to extend the strike zone 2 inches out and 2 inches in. So I was talking to Vasquez earlier today, and I said, hey, Webster said this. How do you do it? And this is what he said. He said, you know, I'm 5'9", 200 pounds. What I try to do is I stay compact behind the plate, but I also try to get big enough to kind of alter the umpire's view to make him change his position so he's not in direct line of sight with the path of the baseball. So that way he can kind of manipulate the strike zone 2 inches off and 2 inches in. I think that kind of makes sense.
It does. He tries to get big back there and not so much tall, but he gets wider. 5'9", 200. That's a load back there a little bit. And then he splits the plate in half with his body. Half of his body many times is off the plate. See him sneaking out there, but his glove is on the corner.
On his by Singleton, and it's 0-2. 93 on the fastball that time for Buchholz.
What that enables him to do is pull the ball back off the plate. If he catches it off the plate a little bit, just pull it back a couple inches to make it look like it's a strike. And he doesn't move his body at all. Strong hands.
In the dirt, and it's 1-2. It amazes me how many times you can get strike calls by just simply hitting the target.
Yeah, and you know, when I first started catching, which was not a lot of fun, but one of the things that I learned, the first thing I learned, is that they said the most important thing to do as a catcher is receive the ball. Simple as it is, just catch the ball. Make the pitcher look good by receiving the ball.
Darts outside, 2-2.
One of the best things that I've seen with Vasquez, what he does is his hands are way back close into him. He doesn't reach out for anything. He's not stiff. He's not reaching across the plate. Everything just kind of comes to him. He's so compact back there. Just nicely gets to him, and then he grabs it so strongly.
Sunday on an all-new Charlie Moore Outdoors, the Mad Fisherman takes his family to Italy. Charlie is in search for authentic wines, cheese, and prosciutto while taking in the historical sites and takes a trip along the Amalfi Coast. Don't miss Charlie Moore's Summer of Fun this Sunday at 6:30.
Buchholz has had a couple great battles here over the last two hitters.
Full count now. 3 consecutive full counts now. The other 2 was able to strike out, and Fowler and Castro back to back.
Does get that pitch count up there, almost to 100 now at 97 pitches.
That's been a 23 pitch inning so far for Buchholz. Almost got the corner, but does not. And down to first base goes Singleton. Second walk allowed by Buchholz on a close pitch.
Just a little bit down, but it was a gutty pitch to throw. I like seeing that. And I think that this next hitter is going to say a lot about some of the steps forward that Buchholz is trying to make. 2 really tough at-bats, threw a lot of pitches, struck out one guy, walked the other. Let's see how you come out of this.
Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, the official hospital of the Boston Red Sox, now offers walk-in urgent care in Chestnut Hill. It's open 10 hours a day for minor emergencies, and every patient is seen by a board-certified emergency medicine physician. More at bidmc.org/Chestnut Hill. First and second, 2 down here in the 6th inning. Potential tying run and scoring position now for the Astros. Matt Dominguez, the batter. He'll take strike one. Tommy Lane, the left-hander, up in the Boston pen. Pitch number 100 for Buchholz evens the count at 1-1. Last time out, Clay going 8 innings, giving up 3 runs to the Angels. There were 120 pitches in that last outing.
This hitter right here is the difference between a good and bad outing.
And a fly ball playable to left center field as Jackie Bradley Jr. settles underneath and makes the catch that ends the inning. The Astros strand a pair. We'll get you the list when we come back. The official ticket partner of the Boston Red Sox. Last half of the 6th inning back at Fenway, 2-1. Red Sox have the lead over the Astros, with Houston out hitting the Red Sox 6-3 in the game. David Ortiz, Yoenis Cespedes, and Mike Napoli coming to bat here in the 6th inning against Dallas Keuchel, who has thrown 72 pitches through the first 5 innings and has now retired the last 5 Red Sox that he has faced in a row. Into the shift are the Astros on the right side as Ortiz takes strike one. Second baseman Jose Altuve ducking back to short right field.
Altuve has to almost step out of the grass and back into the dirt infield so you can see him. Get lost out there.
A little bit low, 1-1. Now David had an infield hit in the 4th inning that led to the line drive 2-run home run by Yoenis Cespedes. Supplying the Red Sox offense so far tonight.
When a sinker ball pitcher starts to get tired, the ball stops sinking and it comes up in the zone a little bit. But Keuchel's only thrown 75 pitches this far, so you shouldn't really, as a Red Sox hitter, you're not worried about him being tired, so you still have to concentrate on getting his best pitches up in the zone somehow. And you got to lay off of that pitch, and that's just not a strike. Just not a strike. I don't even have to look at the Amica thing. That's not a strike. It can get frustrating for a hitter when you know that the pitcher's trying to work down in the strike zone, and then you get a pitch like that called against you. It's like, I know where he's trying to go, but all of those pitches can't be strikes.
Ortiz fouls it off, and we'll do it again, 3-2. It's time now for The List, brought to you by Benjamin Moore, the official paint of the Boston Red Sox, shortest active players in Major League Baseball. Jose Altuve, 5'6". Dustin Pedroia, Jimmy Rollins, and 7 others are at 5'8". If you have a comment about tonight's list, tweet us at #NESSENList. Vertically challenged. This is fouled off at the plate.
I think a lot of those guys love the fact that they are the height that they are. Like you look at Pedroia. You think Pedroia would be the same player that he is today if he was 6'3", 220?
So if he would not have the attitude that he currently has.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think the reason that he is the player he is because of the size that he is. And Altuve the same way. He's laughing at people. Yeah, I'm this small. Guess what? I'm one of the best players in baseball. Too bad for you.
Down to first base goes David Ortiz. Leadoff walk on a very close pitch at the bottom of the zone that Keuchel definitely wanted.
Great at bat for Big Papi right there.
The last time we saw Yoenis Cespedes bat, 4th inning, line drive home run into the monster seats.
Everybody talks about putting a dent in the left field wall. That put a dent in the wall behind the seats.
First home run here at Fenway in a Red Sox uniform, and they're looking to help the Red Sox add on here, only on top by a run as they bat in the bottom of the 6th inning. There's strike one. Last 5 games, 3 home runs for Cespedes. 1 in Anaheim, 1 in Cincinnati, and 1 here in Boston.
Every one of them gave the Red Sox the lead.
Grounds it foul this time, and down 1-2 now in the count. Look out, Bill Titus.
Oh. He's upset he didn't bring his glove.
Up high, 2-2. Outfield deep and straight away here on Cespedes. Altuve hanging around in the bag at second base. And it's right at him. He will take it to second for 1, on to first for 2. Could not have been positioned more perfectly there at second base as it worked out. 2 down.
Well, who's ever doing the advanced scouting for the Astros is doing a pretty darn good job. This is about 3 hits so far that have been taken away just because of perfect positioning and some shifts.
Two down, first double play turned tonight by the Astros, and brings up Mike Napoli. Napoli walked in the 2nd and walked in the 4th inning. He's been on twice. Fly ball to deep center field, sending Dexter Fowler back to the warning track at the wall. Won't get it. Off the wall. Ricochet goes to Marisnick, the right fielder, who gets it back in. Wall ball double to straightaway center field for Mike Napoli.
One of the things that's the most fun about playing in the outfield of Fenway Park, especially center, on a ball like this, you know you're going all the way back to the wall. If you can get there and catch it, that's great. If you can't, it's off the wall, and then you're looking for help from everybody else. Fowler gets to the wall. He can't make the play, and now he's like looking around. Where's my left fielder? Where's my right fielder? Someone else is going to have to pick this ball up.
His right fielder, Jake Marisnick, ran over and was able to play the ricochet. But a double for Mike Napoli with 2 down. Xander Bogaerts now with a chance.
There's no other ballpark in baseball where you're the right fielder and you may have to field a ball from center and throw it back in.
This will get away from Castro into third base. Goes Napoli. A long way away from Castro.
Now that's just a little bit of laziness on Castro's part back there, not getting down to block that ball with a guy on base.
Wild pitch. Sess to Keuchel here with 2 down, and Bogaerts taking a strike, 2-1. Xander tonight has struck out swinging and reached on a fielder's choice. Now grounder towards second base. Altuve will go to first, and Keuchel gets out of the jam in the inning. Red Sox leave Napoli at third base. It's 2-1 Boston. WB Mason's What a Bargain Furniture Superstore for amazingly low prices on new and slightly used office furniture equipment and supplies. You'll be the office MVP. Visit whatabargain.com. Who but WB Mason? And we head here into the top half of the 7th inning. Balloons, all kinds of stuff there. A sign ready to go into this 7th inning. The breaking ball was not snapped off well by Clay Buchholz there. Works into the 7th, up over 100 pitches. That was 102. Jake Marisnick batting here, third time tonight, 1 for 2 with his single. Popped up left side of the infield. Charging in comes Xander Bogaerts for the first out of the inning. Time for an NST update and Leah and Sarah. All right, thanks very much. The Red Sox bullpen is busy. Tommy Lane was up last inning. He's been joined by Burke Badenhop now in the 7th. Buchholz has the first out of the 7th inning, and now we'll deal with Marwin Gonzalez.
I like the fact that John Farrell ran Buchholz back out for the start of this inning. He's got guys ready if he gets in a little trouble. But he's done a good job in this game so far, pitched well. It's a 2-1 game. Pretty much has said, this is your game. Go out there and keep trying to get guys out. He's up over 100 pitches now. I assume that if he gets in a little trouble, one of those guys from the pen will be coming in. Plus, he's in the back half of the order.
Drops in there for strike 2, and it's 0-2. Nine strikeout performance so far for Clay Buchholz in the game tonight. It's after he struck out 12 Astros in Houston. On the ground, foul, and it'll hang at 0-2. Don't miss the tradition honoring Tim Wakefield, Teddy Bruschi, Patrice Bergeron, and other legends of Boston sports. This annual fundraising gala returns to the TD Garden on September the 17th. Proceeds benefit the nonprofit Sports Museum. For tickets or to learn about sponsorship opportunities, visit sportsmuseum.org. One out here in the 7th inning. Marwin Gonzalez waiting on an 0-2 pitch. They've gone through everything that Clay throws and didn't want any of them so far.
I don't like that one.
So Christian Vasquez will start over. Popped up. Pitch. Vasquez in the way of the batter at the moment, and he will make the catch. He ruled interference there by Corey Blazer. He was calling him out already before Vasquez made the catch. Gonzalez didn't get out of the way at all, ended up in the way. That's out number 2 of the inning.
Is the responsibility of the hitter or base runner to be out of the way. I don't know what he thought was going on. He just figured everybody would just let that ball drop. We could start over. I like how Vasquez looks at the hitter while he's sitting behind home plate to make sure that the hitter isn't peeking back for any signs.
Driven to deep right field, down the line towards the corner and the pole, and that ball is gone. Home run to tie the game for Robbie Grossman, his 6th of the year. And Clay Buchholz's 2-1 lead is gone.
Grossman just looking up there to ambush the first pitch. He's a 200 hitter, but what was the pitch that got hit? The pitch that I say gets him in the most trouble. The cutter. Just didn't do anything, stayed out over the middle of the plate, and ended up in the right field bleachers.
Now Altuve runs up, shows bunt, and takes strike 1. Now Buchholz last time coming out and had up over 100 pitches in Anaheim. The Angels able to tie it up. That game ended up into 19 innings. He comes out here in the 7th inning up over 100 pitches, gives up the home run, and It is tied up now. Middlebrooks from foul ground, long throw, one hopped and beautifully picked at first base by Mike Napoli. What a play! A ball exploded on Napoli, but he makes the grab, and this game is tied 2-2. 7th inning stretch from Fenway. DCU Digital Federal Credit Union tomorrow at 6:30. Adam Pellerin and Steve Lyons will preview Ruby De La Rosa's start. DCU Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? A nice play to end the last inning on both ends, really.
Yeah, Middlebrooks to his right. Might have had a little bit more time to set himself better and make the throw. You see him a little off balance doing it, and then he bounces it over there, which is probably by design right there for him. He probably one-hopped it on purpose, but sometimes if that becomes a little bit more of a short hop than a long hop, it's a tough play for the first baseman. Napoli stuck with it.
Well, a 2-2 ball game now as the Red Sox come to bat here in the last half of the 7th inning. Bottom third of the Red Sox order. Middlebrooks takes ball one. Action for the Astros. Right-hander Jose Veras up in the pen. Red Sox have action as well. Edward Mujica now warming. On the ground left side, Marwin Gonzalez throws out Middlebrooks for the first out of the inning. Summer is in full swing, and so are specially priced Red Sox tickets for students. Student tickets are available for every Sox game. Tickets start at just $9, so go to redsox.com/student to take advantage of this great offer today. One out in the 7th inning brings up Jackie Bradley Jr., who is grounded out and struck out. 0 for 2 so far tonight. In there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Popped up foul off to the left, and it's 0-2.
I'm glad I showed up today because you've told me so many things that I'm going to do tomorrow. My whole day's planned.
We know what you're doing. You're going to be on the pregame show.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about De La Rosa's start. I'm going to.
You had no idea about any of this.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm
now
getting you a jump on tomorrow.
Now I'm going to know all about this day in history.
That's right. Jackie Bradley Jr. strikes out for the second time tonight. It's 8 strikeouts now for Dallas Keuchel. And they're 2 down here in the 7th inning. Arbella Insurance Foundation, the proud presenting sponsor of the WEI Ness and Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon. This season dedicated to striking out cancer in kids. Arbella donates $50 for every strikeout thrown by a Sox pitcher, up to $100,000. Arbella Insurance Foundation, here for the Jimmy Fund, here for good. 2 down in the 7th inning for Christian Vazquez. Grounded to short and struck out looking. 8 strikeouts ties a season high for Dallas Keuchel. His career high is 9. So my goal is to teach you something new every time we work together that maybe you didn't know before.
Even about myself?
Even about yourself. Even about you. And that's the plan. And I think I taught you a lot today, really.
you have accomplished that goal.
I feel like I have.
I'm so much smarter now than when I walked in here tonight.
1-1 is going to miss for ball 2.
So I should set a goal at some point in time to reciprocate?
That'd be great.
How about teaching you the word reciprocate?
Yeah. And how to use it correctly in a sentence. That'll be the other key.
3 syllables. That's a little rough on me.
I've had a lot of suggestions.
That's 4 syllables. That's over my head. I can't enunciate that many.
2-1 is wide. Right back where it came from and into center. Over the shoulder of Keuchel, and Vazquez with a base hit here with 2 down in the 7th inning.
Those are the kind for a pitcher. You have no chance to catch it. You're happy to react well enough to get out of the way of it. Another hit up the middle for Vazquez. But it's nice to see a young player work on a certain aspect of his game and then take it into the game. You see guys all day long work on stuff. I got to go the other way. I got to go the other way. And they get in the game and they're dead pull hitters. And they ground out 4 times. And it's like they're not even trying to do what they've worked on. This kid's fun to watch in a lot of aspects of his game.
Here's Brock Holt now. Pitch bouncing in. Taken off for second base is Vazquez. He broke right away. No hesitation with that ball in the dirt. Now he's in scoring position.
Wait, Don, that almost looked like he was doing a delayed steal. His jump was awesome. Let's see if we can see him get his... Well, as soon as that ball was in the dirt, he was gone. That's great reaction time, as maybe only a catcher would know. You see a ball in the dirt like that, if you're an aggressive base runner, your momentum should be towards second base, not back to first. If the guy knocks it down and jumps on it right away, you have plenty of time to get back. So it doesn't make any sense to have your momentum going back to first. And it was a heads-up play by Vazquez, and then you easily glide into second.
Now Brock Holt has a chance to give the Red Sox a lead here with 2 outs, as he takes a very high strike call. Not so sure it was even a strike.
Well, Brock Holt is really close to being on that list of the guys you were talking about before that are a little vertically challenged.
To right field and a base hit for Holt. Here comes Vazquez. Here comes a throw. It is going to be cut off. Run scores, and they're going to get Holt between first and second. They'll tag him out, but the run is in, and the Red Sox have taken a 3-2 lead. Brock Holt with a base hit to drive in Vazquez. It's 3-2 Boston. update after the game. The guys will break down Clay Buchholz to start and hear John Farrell's thoughts. You can't go wrong when you buy right at WB Mason. They play along here to the top of the 8th. Red Sox now have a lead. And a new pitcher in as this call to the bullpen is brought to you by your local New England Ford dealers. Edward Mujica coming into the game here in the 8th inning. Mujica's 47th appearance, 2-4 with a 4.50 earned run average, 30 strikeouts and 9 walks. And opponent sitting at 302 against Mujica. The left-hander and Tommy Lane behind him in the bullpen have been up much earlier in the game, back up again.
How about Eddie Mujica moving back into the role that they signed him to do, an 8th inning guy? Had such a rough first half of the season. He's got a little bit more of the velocity back on his fastball. People were really sitting on his changeup, and that was hurting him.
The fan has run onto the field here, and he will be quickly taken off. Ace Ticket, the official Red Sox ticket partner, has the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway, all the 200% guarantee. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games. Treat yourself or someone special. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. And Chris Carter standing back in here with the count of 1-0. Clay Buchholz with the first 7 innings tonight, 7 hits, 2 runs. He walked 2. And struck out 9. Departs with a chance to get his 6th win of the year. As this starts down and away, 2-0.
How about the Red Sox in the back half of the order picking up Buchholz by getting him a run there? After 2 outs, Vasquez works the base hit, moves up to second, and then Holt drives him in.
There's a strike, 2-1. Yeah, the wild pitch was big too, as it turned out, but give credit to Vasquez. Aggressively taking second base to get into that scoring position.
Yep.
Now Mujica got a save on Wednesday at Cincinnati. Picked up his 3rd of the year as Koji Ihara had worked 3 days in a row. So Mujica able to pick up the save. He's not allowed to run in 9 consecutive appearances. That's ranged over 7 2/3. But here's a base hit to right center field for Chris Carter. Begins things here in the 8th as the Astros get the lead runner on.
Mujica was emphatic right there, not wanting to go to the changeup, wanted to stay with the fastball. But he missed location here, tried to get that away, and you can see it tail back out over the middle of the plate. And Carter's been one of the hotter hitters in the game here since the month of July. We were about to say Mujica felt like he was a little too predictable, that people were sitting on his changeup. It is his most effective pitch, unless guys are just waiting for it.
Now Dexter Fowler. The swing and a miss for strike 1. Again, Will Middlebrooks in on the grass at 3rd base. Rolled it over foul and is down 0-2.
You know the old adage in baseball that if you're on the road, you have to try to play for the win. You don't play for the tie because the home team gets their final at bat. Not so sure I necessarily agree with that philosophy. I got to think if I'm Dexter Fowler in this situation, I got to be bummed to get that guy in scoring position. To me, you have to tie the game before you win it.
Pops it up into shallow left. Cespedes coming on now and can't get it. Drops in for a hit. Picking it up is Middlebrooks. And it is 1st and 2nd with nobody out. Not hit hard, but placed well into short left field, and Cespedes could not get there.
And after 2 quick hits, John Farrell, I think, has probably seen enough.
And he will indeed take the baseball from Mujica. So it'll be Tommy Lane coming in from the pen with the Red Sox on top 3-2 right now. Wide selection of Green Mountain Coffee K-Cup packs will keep you running and guarantees to satisfy any fan base. Order by 11:30 a.m. and get free same-day delivery. Who but WB Mason? Now it's 3-2 right now. Red Sox have the lead, but the Astros are threatening with runners at first and second. Edward Mujica has been chased from this game, and now Tommy Lane comes in. Ninth appearance, 1-0 with a 1.35 earned run average. He's worked in 6 2/3 innings. Opponent's hitting at just 0.91 against Lane, and he comes in to face Jason Castro, pinch runner, and Gregorio Pettit at second base. As he runs for Chris Carter, representing the tying run. Dexter Fowler is at first base.
I think Pettit could fit in Carter's back pocket. A little better speed out there. Get a chance to score that run and tie it up.
Red Sox have more action in their pen. Burke Badenhop back up in the pen. Tommy Lane picked up a win on Tuesday night at Cincinnati. He's first with the Red Sox, first in the majors since 2012 with San Diego. Send it down to Gary.
Guys, it's pretty hard to believe that Tommy Lane's career was almost over before it began. 2012 was his first season in the San Diego Padres organization. He was telling me he was actually close to retirement. It was before the All-Star break. He was actually a starter. He was telling me he was getting roughed up. He actually had a meeting with then manager John Gibbons, who is now the Toronto Blue Jays manager. He was the manager of the AA affiliate in the Padres down there. And he was saying, listen, I don't think I have this stuff. Can I go to the bullpen? He made the start, got roughed up, went through the All-Star break. Gibbons then relegated him to the bullpen. And that's when Tommy Lane told me everything started to click. He got to concentrate on focusing all of his power on 1 to 2 innings. He also became a lefty specialist, and that's what he prefers to do now, is come out of the bullpen, and you can see it. 7 of his 8 appearances with the Red Sox, he's gone scoreless, which has led John Farrell to say, listen, he's not just, a trash inning guy. He deserves to pitch in high leverage situations, which he's in one right now.
Well, some guys seem to find it easier in the bullpen, and they find their niche in that regard. I think a guy like Tommy Hunter, we saw for a number of years with Texas trying to start, and then in Baltimore before he got into the bullpen, and now closing games. And he's a guy that found his niche. Tommy Lane trying to find his, grabs a strike and makes it 3-1.
Well, he fell behind in the count here. It seems to me that his best effectiveness is to get an early strike and then go down and away. He's so tough to pick up. He's kind of a crossfire guy.
There's strike 2, full count, and Castro about to toss the bat. Thought he had ball 4.
If you're a left-handed hitter, his pitch is Tommy Lane. Looks like he's coming at you from first base almost. He doesn't throw that front foot, that right foot right at home. He kind of throws it towards the Red Sox dugout a little more and then throws across his body.
Strike 3 call. Castro didn't like strike 2. He liked strike 3 even less.
That's the advantage he has once he gets in a favorable count. And the nasty little cutter, and then he'll throw even a harder slider away. He didn't have the luxury of getting to bury this one in the dirt to try to get someone to chase it. He had to throw it for a strike. Looked like a pretty good pitch.
It did.
He didn't think so.
Actually, they both did, looking back at it. So 1 out, runners at first and second. Lane needed something that didn't include contact. He got it, and striking out Castro now deals with John Singleton. And a swing and a miss for strike 1.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about with Castro. He didn't believe either one of those pitches were strikes because he doesn't picking up the ball very well. Doesn't really know where it is. Now Lane can start to throw these balls off of the plate.
Pickoff play at second, or at least a bluff, as Pettit diving back, the pinch runner.
Ooh.
Fouled back, 1-2. I want to remind you to stay tuned tonight following WB Mason Extra Innings Live for Red Sox Final presented by Esurance. Send your questions to Adam Pellerin. Hashtag Sox Final, and maybe yours will be answered on our Red Sox Final presented by Esurance.
See if you can think along with Vasquez. Does he waste one, come inside just to show it? Or does he go for the kill and go for that slider down and away in the dirt and try to get Singleton to chase it?
Tried it, but it is fouled off, 1-2 to a breaking ball away.
Some pitchers will feel like I've thrown the same pitch over and over and over to a hitter. He's getting used to it. But if that hitter can't hit that pitch, he's not getting used to it. I would say keep throwing that slider. Just move it farther and farther off the plate. He's got pitches to mess around with in this at-bat.
Singleton chases and strikes out. How about Tommy Lane? Back-to-back strikeouts, 2 down. And John Farrell coming out here as Lane does his job. And Burt Badenhop ready to go on the pen. Matt Dominguez coming up, and looks like John Farrell's going to make another change. Lane came in with runners at first and second, nobody out. Strikes out back-to-back batters. It's 3-2 Red Sox. Houston Astros with 2 outs here in the top half of the 8th inning. The Astros with runners at first and second, and Burke Badenhop comes into the game, his 54th appearance of the year, 0-2, the 2.59 earned run average, 32 strikeouts. As Matt Dominguez, the batter here for the Astros, as Badenhop spins off the backside of the hill.
Well, Gary Streisky told us that Tommy Lane likes the fact that now he can just come in and concentrate on a hitter or 2, maybe 3. I'd say that was pretty good concentration when you punch out the first 2 guys you see.
Outstanding work getting Castro and Singleton.
I like his stuff. I like his delivery, especially to left-handers. It's just so difficult to see the ball when you're long and lanky and kind of crossfire a guy.
In there for a strike, 1-1. Burke Badenhop threw a 1-2-3 7th inning, 3 ground ball outs on Wednesday at Cincinnati. 7th straight scoreless appearance in that outing. Went 5 in the 3rd innings now without giving up a run. 5th straight year that he's gone 50+ outings in a season. Foul back, and it's 1-2.
He's going to get a bunch more this year, too. Farrell uses him in a lot of different situations, especially when you kind of need a ground ball. Many times when you need a ground ball double play, that's not the situation here. They only need 1 more out.
That leads Major League relievers with 13 opponent grounded into double plays.
That is a useful piece of
How about that
studying he threw in right there, I'll tell you.
1-2 pitch to Dominguez. This one fouled off to the right. You just throw some smack out there and I'll back it up with some numbers.
It's nice when it all comes together like that.
That goes the catcher Vasquez. 2 on, 2 down here in the 8th inning. Potential tying run in scoring position. John Farrell trying to piece this together. Started the inning with Mujica. Tommy Lane came in, got 2 big outs, and now Burke Badenhop trying to finish off this top of the 8th. Jake Marisnick on deck for the Astros. Dominguez, it's a 1-hopper to short. Bogaerts flips to second, and it's going to be late. Now the throw to the plate, and trying to get in, and the tag is not going to be in time. He does get in. Slipped around Burke Badenhop's tag, and how about that? Pettit had to go through all kinds of obstacles to get to the plate. Bogaerts could not get the ball quickly enough to Pedroia at second base for the force out, and the Astros have tied the game. John Farrell's going to come out and argue, and we will see.
I'm not sure if he ever touched home plate or whether or not John Farrell's arguing if he is out of the baseline. I've never seen a play like this before. This is a ball where you just go to first base. Throw that ball to first. It's the easiest play there. Great heads-up play by Pedroia. Now watch the angle. I mean, is he in the baseline either way? Could have gone out of the baseline trying to avoid Vasquez, and then out of the baseline again trying to avoid Badenhop. He does touch home. Wow. Very athletic, and that was the reason why he's in there, to be the pinch runner.
And the ball came out of Badenhop's glove and never had it. He applied the tag. The ball was on the ground.
I think when Vasquez made the catch at home, he assumed that Pettit was going back to third base. And so the roundabout angle he took, he was surprised when Pettit kept going towards home. See how far inside the line Vasquez is. I don't think he went out of the baseline at all when he touched home. I think the question might be, did he go out of the baseline right here? You only get 3 feet. I don't think that they would overturn anything on what I'm seeing there.
Well, the umpire's talking a long time, and now they're going to go check something out. Apparently, so an umpire review to get a better look. Jim Joyce, the crew chief, is going to check it out. They talked for a while before deciding to do this, so they want to make sure they get it right.
What happens is the third baseline, the line that you see from home to third base, isn't necessarily your baseline. It's not, when you're a base runner and you hit a base hit and you round first base on your way to second, you're creating your own baseline. Once you create the baseline that you're on, now you can only vary from it 3 feet either side.
I would think that'd be a very tough call to overturn right now.
I think
based
so too.
on what we've seen.
Yeah, I didn't see enough. I don't think he went far enough away from a baseline either way. And as I said, if you're coming down the line outside, think of it if you're trying to score from second base. Some kind of athletic move, I'll tell you. We talked about this a little bit on the post-game show last night on that play with Napoli had at first base when they tried to pick him off and he tried to tag him twice and missed him. As a player, stay on the base. That's where the runner has to go. Don't go chasing him. He's got to come to you eventually.
They are challenging two things here. They're challenging the play at second base and the play at the plate. So two things being challenged. Is he out at second base, first of all? And that's pretty close. And it's taken them some time.
Well,
wow. They have beaten him there.
Can't you only challenge one?
I think you can challenge as many as you'd like.
Well, if he uses his challenge here, and you're right, that is awfully close at second base. But if you use your challenge there and you're wrong,
right,
you get no more challenges. So you can't challenge the play at home.
May win that one. We'll have to see. Right there, he looks out.
Yeah, it looks like there's some dirt between his cleats and the base, but is he on the base there?
That's a good question. It's even closer.
Yeah, that's one of those things I think too, where I think it's too close to overturn. They made the safe call. I doubt that they would overturn it. That was a crazy play. Never seen a play like that at home.
Safe at second base. Run scores, and it is 3-3.
Well, it wasn't like a genius move, but I still think you have to give Bo Porter a lot of credit for making that move and putting Pettit in as a pinch runner on second base for Chris Carter. Made all the difference in the world on that play.
They have charged an error to Vasquez on the play. And a fielder's choice. Dominguez reaches on the fielder's choice. The error by the catcher allows the run to score. And the game is tied 3-3.
Other than taking an odd route in chasing down Pettit, where's the error to Vasquez? He threw the ball to Badenhove, hit him right in the glove.
Where's Nick now? Takes pitch outside. Outside, 2-1. Chop towards second base. Pedroia will flip to second for the force out that will end the inning. Well, it's tied up 3-3. We'll see Pedroia, Ortiz, and Cespedes coming up. Your nonprofit organization, there's no better place to do so than Fenway Park. Contact our group sales department to learn about this summer's fundraising packages. Go to redsox.com/groups for more details. Now, tonight's game summary is brought to you by Xfinity. Clay Buchholz will not be part of the decision tonight. He went 7 innings, giving up 7 hits, and was charged with 2 runs. Seen Mujica, Lane, and Badenhop since. For the Astros, starting the game, Dallas Keuchel. He went the first 7 innings, and Keuchel leaves here as the Red Sox get a 2-run home run from Yoenis Cespedes, his 20th home run of the year. As we play along to the bottom of the 8th inning in a 3-3 game. Jose Veras now coming into the game now for the Astros, into his 19th game of the year, 2-0, 3.31 earned run average, 16 strikeouts to 7 walks, and opponents hitting at .231 against Veras. Dustin Pedroia to lead it off. He'll take strike 1 over the outside corner. Pedroia looking for his first hit tonight. He's grounded out to third and struck out twice. Outside, 1-1. David Ortiz, then Yoenis Cespedes expected here in the 8th in a tie game. Red Sox had taken the 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 7th inning, but the Astros come up with a run in the 8th to tie it up. Rolled over, foul, 1-2. Alltown, New England's premier convenience retailers, committed to supporting the communities they serve. For every home run the Red Sox hit the rest of the season, Alltown donate $500 to the Cystic Fibrosis Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. Visit www.cfmsfund.org for more information. Ball and 2 strikes to Dustin Pedroia.
Red Sox have the right part of their order up to make their move late in the game.
Pedroia chops one towards short. Marwin Gonzalez on the run and in time for the first out here in the 8th. Now the closer up for Boston, Koji Uehara. Last worked on Tuesday at Cincinnati, getting his 26th save of the year. One out here in the 8th as David Ortiz stands in.
You would think you'd see Uehara in this game.
In there for strike 1.
David's seen a few pitches down in the strike zone so far tonight that he hasn't liked that much, but hasn't said a whole lot about either.
To center field, Fowler moves over and makes the catch for the second out of the 8th. Tune in tonight after Red Sox coverage to NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. Leanne Sarah will have highlights and reaction for the Patriots-Eagles preseason game and preview the Silver Oak Horse Jumping Tournament on Sunday. See what know-how can do. Two down in the 8th inning, and Yoenis Cespedes 1-for-3. The 2-run home run in the 4th inning, his 20th home run of the year. 3rd in a Red Sox uniform and his 1st in a Red Sox uniform at Fenway. There's strike 1. There's Tony Sipp, the left-hander, up in the pen. Former Cleveland Indian. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Mike Napoli waiting on deck. Red Sox batting here in the last half of the 8th inning.
Be very surprised if you see anything middle in.
Trying to go away here on Cespedes. And he fouls it back.
I think these Houston pitchers all night long have done a really nice job of trying to set up the Red Sox hitters. And that was pretty much a setup pitch, up, fastball, getting you to think that he might throw you some more hard stuff when he's probably going to end up throwing those sliders down and away.
In the dirt, very much away.
Veras kind of drops down on his slider, kind of gets the extra break across the plate. They used to call that a little bit of a frisbee slider. Look at that thing go way over. It's a hard pitch to hit, a hard pitch to control. Looking for a mistake.
2-2. Cespedes struck out in the second, that 2-run home run in the 4th, and then bounced into a double play in the 6th. He wants the catcher to come out, calling out Jason Castro.
I always think it's funny when they cover their mouth with the glove. Are you reading their lips? Because I'm not. No. And we're a long ways away. Do you think anyone really cares?
They all seem to think they do. I mean,
yeah.
it's pretty universal across Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I don't.
I
think I could look right at you and say, let's just throw a fastball next pitch. And they still wouldn't know what I'm saying.
2-2 pitch. Cespedes chases the breaking ball in the dirt and strikes out. A 1-2-3-8 sends us to the 9th inning, tied 3-3. The new Scion TC. Dunkin' Donuts. Your local area Infinity retailers. And by Southwest Airlines. Now it's 3-3 as we head to the top half of the ninth inning. As a defensive change for the Red Sox. Not sure if Dustin Pedroia hurt himself or not. Last ground out for Pedroia the last inning. But Kelly Johnson now into the game at second base for Pedroia.
You know, you hate to speculate anytime you're sitting up here and you really don't know what's going on down there, but Pedroia doesn't come out of a game unless there's a good reason.
Well, into the game for Boston, the closer Koji Uehara in a tie game at home. 55th appearance, 5-2, the 1.29 earned run average, 26 out of 28 when it has been a save opportunity. 70 strikeouts, 7 walks, and opponents hitting only at 185 against Uehara. Takes over for Badenhop. Ended up going a third of an inning. Here's a fly ball to center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. waiting out there on it. And Marwin Gonzalez is out number 1 at the top of the ninth inning. Bob's Discount Furniture is going to bat for the Jimmy Fund once again. Bob will donate $1,000 to the Jimmy Fund for every game saved this season. Everybody saves at Bob's. Bob's Discount Furniture, quality, choice, and value. Learn more at mybobs.com. One out in the ninth inning, and Robbie Grossman, the guy that had a home run back in the 7th inning to tie it at the time, 2-2. He's had a pretty good night tonight. After striking out in the first, he doubled in the 3rd, singled in the 5th, and homered in the 7th.
He's got that funny bat waggle at home plate there. It almost looks like he's going to hit the bill of his batting helmet with his bat. Wraps it up around his head. Think that helps him right there? What is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Very close to his helmet all the way across. Never does actually make contact. Well, we look back over Dustin Pedroia's at bats tonight. The only thing we can really see came back in the 3rd inning when he had fouled a pitch off his foot that stung him, it appeared. And not sure if that's what was ailing him throughout the game, but he has come out of the game here in the 9th. Kelly Johnson now at second base for Boston. Grossman reaches out and lifts this towards left center field. Cespedes will run it down. 2 down.
Now you got a couple guys out there in center and left field that can track some stuff down. Now, that might be a double in a lot of major league outfields. Not in this one.
So 2 flyouts, 2 down here in the top half of the 9th inning. Jose Altuve, batting leader in the American League, coming in hitting at .337. He has been held hitless in the game, 0 for 4. Flying out twice to center, grounding out to second and to third. As he takes strike 1.
It's sort of a double-edged sword with Koji when he comes in. I think if I faced him, I'd want to hit his first pitch. Usually starts you off with a fastball. He doesn't throw that hard. But they tried that. They pop it up. Now you've got 1 out, and he's only thrown 1 pitch. If you take a pitch and wait, and he gets ahead in the count, then you're going to see the split, and you might as well say bye-bye then, too. You're not hitting his split if he's got a good one.
Ground ball to Middlebrooks at third base. And a nice inning for Koji Uehara. 7 pitches. It's a 1-2-3 ninth. This game as Bogaerts backed up, thought they were going to get the force out there. It was late, and then trying to score was Pettit, the pinch runner. Gets around Vasquez and Badenhop to get in to tie the game. First, the play was challenged at second base, and it turned out not to be overturned. He was out at second base, and ruled that he scored at the plate there without any problem or running out of the baseline. So this game tied 3-3 as we head into the bottom of the ninth inning. Mike Napoli leading it off in the bottom of the ninth. Veras back on the mound for the Astros. Fouled off to the right, now to play. Napoli has walked twice and doubled, has been on base 3 times. 1 for 5 in his career against Veras.
Here come the sliders.
Strike 2. Back on June 18th against Minnesota, Mike Napoli had a walk-off home run. That was in the 10th inning. No 2 pitch coming here to Napoli to begin things in the bottom of the ninth. Fouls it off to the right. Red Sox have action in the pen. Breslow warming in the pen. It was a pretty quick inning for Uehara, as it turned out in the 9th inning.
I think Veras playing with fire a little bit. Continuing to throw Napoli the fastball. I don't know if they feel like Napoli has a slider speed bat or something, but can't believe he hasn't thrown a breaking ball in 3 pitches.
There's one, and it misses inside. Back to the gas. Napoli takes it over the outside corner for strike 3 at 94 miles an hour. Second strikeout for Veras since he's been in. 1 down in the 9th.
It's a tough pitch right there. I mean, goodness, I don't want to have to swing at that if I'm hit. Might have been off the plate outside. Tough pitch to take with 2 strikes, I guess, but it's almost unfair if you have to hit that.
1 down in the 9th for Xander Bogaerts. Looking for his first hit of the night. He struck out in the 2nd. He's trying to fielder's choice in the 4th. Grounded out to second base in the 6th inning. Takes strike 1. Will Middlebrooks waiting on deck as the Red Sox bat here in the bottom of the 9th inning in a 3-3 game. Veras started the year with the Cubs on the DL with an oblique strain, activated in May and had a 2.35 earned run average, but was released by the Cubs, picked up by the Astros. Bogaerts pops it up right side of the Astros infield, backpedaling John Singleton to the outfield grass. 2 down. This week on an all-new Ultimate Red Sox show presented by AAA, we look back at the Red Sox Hall of Fame class of 2014. That's all on the Ultimate Red Sox show this Sunday at 6 p.m.
If you had an oblique as big as Veras, you'd be on the DL for about 3 months. That's a big guy out there too. This Astros team, they feature some monsters.
2 down in the 9th, 5 in a row retired by Veras since coming into the game, and Here's Will Middlebrooks, 0 for 3 in the contest. Curveball in there for strike one.
Well, Middlebrooks is hitting a .176 on the season, but this is an opportunity where he needs to kind of look for one pitch and not be late on it. Try to find an ambush fastball and put it into the seats and end the game. Bail and wail.
That's to the backstop on a hop.
Now, there's certain hitters in the game that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to do that, but this is a guy who has power. You might as well take your opportunity right here.
Jackie Bradley Jr. on deck, 2 down, bottom of the ninth. Up high for ball 2. Three and one. Starter Dallas Keuchel went 7 innings, giving up a total of 3 runs.
What I've seen with Middlebrooks a little bit is just a little bit late on fastballs. If you're sitting dead red right here on a 3-run count and you're guessing fastball, do not be late.
He takes it right down the middle. Full count.
Wow.
A foul on a breaking ball, and it's still full. 3 and 2. Two down, bottom of the ninth, full count here to Will Middlebrooks. Outside for ball 4, and he draws a 2-out walk. So the Red Sox have a base runner here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Bo Porter making his way out here to the mound. And Tony Sip up earlier, and he is going to make a change here on Veras after he retired 5 in a row. He will not let him face Jackie Bradley Jr. coming up here. So the right-hander coming out of the game, left-hander coming in. Pitching change from Fenway, game tied 3-3. or their favorite Red Sox players, now they can by checking out NESSENClubhouse.com. It has videos, games, and a whole lot more. It's fun, free, and easy to use. NESSENClubhouse.com.
Yeah, if you want to learn more stuff, you should watch that show.
You learn a lot on that show.
Yeah, I know it's a kid's show, but,
I like kids shows.
It can help.
2 down here in the ninth as Will Middlebrooks at first base and the left-hander Tony Sipp into his 41st game of the year. 2-2 with a 2.78 earned run average. 44 strikeouts at 10 walks, and opponents hitting at 165 against the left-hander. He's posted a 0.64 earned run average in 15 career appearances against Boston. A lot of those coming as a member of the Cleveland Indians. Agreed to a 1-year contract with the Astros back on May 2nd. And released by the Padres at the time. Middlebrooks at first base with 2 down in the ninth. Jackie Bradley Jr. the batter. 0-1.
How do the Padres release a guy with this good an arm? Man.
Swing and a miss at 93 miles an hour. Ball and a strike to Bradley.
It's a little bit strange when you look at the way the defense is set up with Dexter Fowler playing Bradley, just shading him a little bit to left center field. Such a big gap in that triangle area. If a ball gets hit there, Middlebrooks scores, game's over.
To left field, Grossman waiting on it. We'll put it away. We're headed to bonus baseball tonight from Fenway Park, tied 3-3. Jack Link's beef jerky. 10th inning from Fenway, game tied 3-3. As the Red Sox bring on another pitcher, Koji Ihara threw just 8 pitches in the 9th inning, but comes out of the game as Craig Breslow checks in for Boston. 46th appearance, 2-3 with a 4.74 earned run average, 27 strikeouts at 24 walks, and opponents hitting at 295 against Breslow. Koji Ihara had a 1-2-3 9th inning. Breslow finished last night's game against Houston with a scoreless 9th inning, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. Gregorio Pettit leading it off here. He pinch ran for Chris Carter in the 8th inning. Pettit trying to get on to begin things here in the 10th.
Has just 31 at bats on the season, but he does have a home run.
Linesman into center field for a base hit to begin things here in the 10th inning. So lead runner on here for the Astros in the 10th, and Dexter Fowler the batter.
The game gets a little easier for hitters when the ball's right down the middle.
Fouls it off to the right, out of play. Throw to first, and back to the bag is Pettit. Bunt bid, and it is headed towards first base. Napoli will flip to Johnson covering, but it's not in time.
Tell you what, they're going to come out and argue this one. Jim Joyce at first base, I think, is widely regarded as one of the best umpires in the game, but that was an awfully quick call. Watch how quickly he makes the safe call. He could be safe, but man, he could have waited. I think he is safe.
Let me ask you this. A review has already been done. A challenge has already been done. I think he's safe.
Yep. There won't be a challenge on that.
There won't be a challenge anyway, but Red Sox, I think, have lost their challenge.
Yep. They challenged and lost. That's why I always believed if you're going to bunt the ball, everyone likes to drag bunt down the third base line. There's so much more room for error as a hitter if you take the ball with you to the right side. There's too many other things that have to happen in order to get you out. Your percentages of being safe are much better if you take it to the right side.
Snap throw to second, but back to the bag safely is Pettit. Vasquez trying to catch him napping out there at a pretty big secondary lead.
Look at all the movement there as Vasquez tries to go down to second base and get him. He's trying to steal an out.
Jason Castro batting with 2 on, nobody out here in the 10th inning. Fouls it straight back, and it's 1-1.
Bo Porter showed back in the 8th inning when Dexter Fowler was at the plate that he wasn't necessarily going to drop a bunt down in this type of a situation.
Look out, and Breslow hits Castro to load the bases. Bases loaded with nobody out now for the Astros.
That's just a pitch that got away, not even close.
Well, Junichi Tazawa, who's been used so much lately, is back up again in the pen here for the Red Sox. It's been amazing. He has worked in 8 of the last 12 Red Sox games this month. And back up again.
He's been a workhorse all season long and done a pretty darn good job out of the pen, but you start to wonder when your arm's hanging a little bit. His fastball's consistently right around 94 miles an hour. He's got the split to go with it. A little curveball. If that fastball drops down around 90, 91, how much more hittable is he?
Bases loaded, nobody out. John Singleton coming up here for the Astros. For Singleton tonight, striking out 3 times in a walk in the game. Bases filled with Astros here. Nobody out in the 10th inning. Infield in for the Red Sox. And Singleton takes ball 1. Two for 5 in his career with the bases loaded. Actually, this year with the bases loaded. Pettit at third, Fowler at second, Castro at first. Down the right field line, foul. A lot of that, but out ahead of it.
Singleton's kind of showing a different side. We've seen him pull the ball down the line a few times in this series. They say his best power is to the opposite field. That's why we kind of thought, oh, what a great park for him to play. And now he's got the bases loaded, facing a lefty who's probably going to try to take the ball down and away from you. It's right in your wheelhouse if you're a guy that likes to go the other way.
Fly ball to center field, bringing Jackie Bradley Jr. and getting himself ready for a throw. Makes the catch, tagging at third base. Pettit, but he was bluffing, and it's a good thing he was. He would have been very out. Bradley Jr. showing off that arm he's got. Handles the first out of the 10th inning.
That wasn't even any fun for JBJ. He was actually hoping that ball would be deeper. Someone challenged me.
Well, John Farrell headed out here with Tazawa in the pen, and Craig Breslow's outing is over as he departs, responsible for the 3 men on. Bases loaded right now with 1 out. Tazawa coming in. Tenth inning as the bases are loaded right now for the Houston Astros. as Breslow was able to get Singleton to fly out to center field, but now Tazawa into the game for Boston. 57th appearance, 2-3, 3.24 earned run average, 52 strikeouts, 13 walks, and opponents hitting at 262 against Tazawa. And of course, Tazawa working a lot, 9 of the last 13 Red Sox games now, and got to deal with Matt Dominguez, who is currently 0 for 4 in the game. Reached on a fielder's choice his last time up. And of course, that was a play that allowed Pettit to score in the 8th inning that tied this game. The reason we're here now in the 10th. Runners on, the responsibility of Craig Breslow when a third of an inning. Dominguez pops it up. Right side of the infield. Napoli, an infield fly rule in effect, will make the catch, and there are 2 outs in the 10th. 1 pitch, 1 out for Tazawa. Now 2 down in the inning.
We've seen that crazy play in the 8th inning multiple times now, and I know you've had a chance to look at it. To me, it was all would have been avoided if Bogaerts just went to first with the play.
Decided to go to second underhanded, and it did not get there in time, as it turns out.
A lot of times a middle infielder will want to take the easiest out, but sometimes that out at second base is not the easiest out.
Marisnick in his first career at bat with the bases loaded. 2 down in the inning. Call the ball.
I've seen 2 pitches lower than that to David Ortiz tonight that were both called strikes.
Two and 0. Red Sox in the bottom of the 10th inning will be expecting Vasquez, Holt, and Kelly Johnson to bat in the inning. But first, a bit of business here between Tazawa and Marisnick. To right field, falling fast down the line on the run is Holt. It will fall fair and jump up into the seats, and it'll score 2 runs.
Wow.
It is a ground rule double. Pettit scores, Fowler scores, and the Astros take a 5-3 lead.
Well, I don't think anybody complained when Pedroia dropped one on that foul line last night with the bases loaded to score a couple, but you look at this ball and you're like, really? This is how you're going to drive in a couple? Just a jam sandwich right there.
Second and third now with 2 outs. And Marwin Gonzalez, the batter. In there for strike 1. Castro at third, Marisnick at second base with now 2 outs in the 10th. Trying the bunt and fouls it back, 0-2.
I'm one of those guys with a guy on third base and 2 outs. I love a bunt play, but you see Bo Porter scratching his head right now because there's 2 guys on. You just don't generally bunt when you have a chance to drive in 2 runners out there. I think he's always smiling though, isn't he?
Yes.
He's like, I can't believe he tried to do that. So he's laughing through the tears maybe, but I remember you talking about when Tremblay was with the Orioles and how bad a team they were, and every time they just let 10 runs in, he would be standing over there looking like he was smiling.
That's all you can do at that point.
Yeah, he is a happy guy. He's a great guy to see before ball games. Good information. Ralph Dickinson right behind him.
The 1-2 pitch. Line foul off to the left, back up into the grandstand area.
Ralph Dickinson there in that dugout was actually my head coach when I played summer ball in Dodge City, Kansas in the Collegiate League.
Wow. Kansas?
Dodge City, baby.
Dodge City. Where is Dodge City? Close to?
I have no idea.
Anything?
That's where the Can girls were.
1-2 the count.
A lot of flat ground out there.
Little number that is foul. We'll do it again. 1-2.
Many of these players that are playing in the big leagues today play in those collegiate summer leagues. Of course, the Cape League now is the league to play in. The best baseball talent from all across America goes there to play in the summertime. It wasn't that way back when I was in college. The best league to play in was the Alaskan League. 4 teams up there where all the best players went. Then probably the Jayhawk League, which is where I was. Now it's all about the Cape League.
Swing and a miss. That'll end the inning, but the damage has been done. The Astros score a pair, take a 5-3 lead. So we head to the bottom of the 10th inning. It'll be Christian Vasquez, Brock Holt, and Kelly Johnson expected to bat in the inning.
It was Vasquez that got things going in the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 outs to help the Red Sox regain the lead back then.
Christian Vasquez had a single back in the 7th inning, 1 for 3. Chad Qualls, the veteran right-hander, up in the pen. He's now closing for the Astros.
Can remember about 100 years ago when he was the setup man for the Astros. Bounced around a few places since then.
(1-0) to Christian Vasquez. That'll miss. 2-0. Five runs, 12 hits, no errors now for the Astros. 3 runs, 6 hits, and an error for Boston. All 3-0. I guess that things happened so quickly last inning that Bo Porter didn't have a chance to get him up yet, and that's why he did not start this inning.
You would think he'd had plenty of time. They had the bases loaded. Qualls was with those really good Houston Astro teams, 04 to 07. And then he's been everywhere since. Arizona, San Diego, Miami, Tampa Bay. He went from Philly to New York to Pittsburgh, all in the 2012 season. He's worn a bunch of different color shoes.
3-1 the count. Pitch in there for a strike from Tony Sipp. Brock Holt waiting on deck, and then Kelly Johnson scheduled for the second spot in the order. Came in for Dustin Pedroia in the 9th inning. Strike 2, full count.
I think Vasquez was taking all the way right there. Kind of has an old school attitude about him. Thinking like a leadoff guy, trying to get on base. You need base runners in this situation, no doubt about that.
Struck him out for the first out of the 10th inning. Sipp battled back, was down 3-0, but he comes back to strike out Vasquez, 1 down.
Tough pitch right at that bottom of the strike zone, and Vasquez has been sitting back there all night knowing that a lot of those pitches have been called strikes, so you better know you got to swing at it.
1 down for Brock Holt. 2-hit night tonight, a single in the 3rd inning. It was an infield hit, and then a single to right in the 7th inning. That scored a run, picked up his 25th RBI of the year. There's strike 1. Kelly Johnson on deck for Boston. Baltimore and Cleveland in the 10th inning now. That game tied 1-1 in Cleveland. That's amazing. Baltimore has sort of run away here with the American League East at the moment. A 7.5 game lead over the Blue Jays.
And they're banged up.
In the air to left center field. As the center fielder Fowler settles underneath and handles out number 2 of the 10th inning. the standings as, well, it's a big difference right now in the American League East. Good spread there for the O's, even though they are banged up. Manny Machado going on the DL again.
That's surprising. That's a team that we knew could swing the bats all season long, and they have. They've hit the ball out of the ballpark, but never really thought that their pitching would hold up. I think that the rest of the division played pretty poorly, though, as well.
Kelly Johnson's first at bat as he takes strike one. High strike at that. Bouncing in, blocked by the catcher Castro.
I guess if you get traded for Stephen Drew, you have to wear his number too.
He chose to. 1-1 is into the shift. The shortstop, Marwin Gonzalez, perfectly positioned, and that's the ball game as Johnson grounds out to end things here in the 10th inning as the Houston Astros in 10 innings tonight down the Red Sox 5-3 in frustrating fashion for Boston tonight. We will step aside and come back with more from Fenway right after this.